So we're here. I guess I should intro the episode. How long have we been live for? I don't know how long we've been live for. Today's episode of production is pretty sick, as you guys can see. It's just the three of us. Solomon is not here, so I've taken the wheel. We wanted to do an episode as fast as possible, so I guess all of us landed like 24 hours ago, maybe.
Yeah, I woke up at 2:30 a.m. and couldn't sleep.
Great.
So I've been up since then.
Yeah, I woke up at 4 a.m. kind of. AVRL just woke up after like 4 hours, so that's sick. Yeah.
I went to bed at 4 a.m.
Wow. That's
not entirely
how
true.
the hell did you go to bed at 4 a.m.? What the hell? Okay, yeah. So we're all pretty jet lagged. We're all tired from traveling, working. I traveled for 24 hours. I don't know how long it took for you guys to get home. I was literally from the moment I was in a Saudi airport to the moment I got home. It was 24 hours. I don't know how long it took for you guys.
Oh God, I think
Less than that.
total is probably 21, probably. How fast was your LAX customs? Border Patrol.
Oh, immediately.
Yeah. Dude,
Global
I
entry.
have never been through LAX that quick, bro. And this is my first time on my green card as well. Never been through LAX that quick. We were like, it was, you know, the normal, like regular fucking thick row that they have, you know, the non-citizen.
They have the snake rows where like it takes an hour.
Snake row.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an hour, bro. I've been there for 3 hours once. It sucks, but it was like half that, and then it was going really quick, and then they started siphoning people off to go to other desks across the hall.
Yeah,
I was like, I've never seen them do that. They were just fucking churning people through. I don't know if they've changed something about LAX because you also don't need to remove your shoes anymore. So I'm wondering if they're like, this is a fucking problem. We need to fix this because it is the most ass airport of all fucking time. When you have to go through border CBP or whatever.
Yeah, I told you got a green card. I got that global entry. They take
need global entry.
They take a picture of my face. I walk up to a camera and it's like go, and I'm through. Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna actually do that this week. There is a small fly right next to me. I will kill this motherfucker. He will die.
Yeah.
But anyway, also YouTube news. We can swear within the first minute now. Yes. Okay.
Except
it won't affect
Johnny started the episode so early, he caught your ass out. You didn't realize when Johnny was like, I'm going to start the episode sneaky early. Wait 7 seconds anyway.
No, you can just swear within the first. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know how much of the private thing is going to go on the board.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. It was a fucking good event.
Everything.
I ripped out the first F-bomb. Cuffer ripped out 4 in a single interview, but I ripped it out first in the episode because damn, I thought we had a really good tournament.
Wait, did you actually curse on the air?
4 times in the same interview.
I mean,
Cuffer did.
Who cares?
Right? Did you?
Me?
I thought you said that you did, and I was like,
I said Cuffer did.
Yeah, Cuffer did.
Nah, like who cares? If
and Tree did once. Tree did once.
And he dabbed.
And
it almost counts as a swear.
Yeah.
Like a visual swear.
But it was funny because Tree was like, oh my god, I cursed in the interview, just like pure shock. And then Kaffa was like lost, and it was like he didn't want to do the lose interview, so he just ripped it out like yeah, he was just like, oh, they're so fucking good, man. We're the fucking best, or like, oh, that fucking sucks, man.
No, the
and
opposite.
he just
it's like we fucking lost. Shouldn't have fucking lost. Like,
yeah, made fucking mistakes. And it was like, oh, is he? Yeah, I know. I mean, look, I'm not.
It was funny. I liked it.
It was funny, but we obviously will recognize that, you know, he was emotional after losing that match. Obviously.
Chat, let me know what your favorite Jaws and reinforced F-bomb on the official broadcast was.
I didn't swear.
I've sworn once.
Fucking angle.
Oh, dude, I thought you meant this event. That's an ancient.
Was that on Havana in like 21?
Havana, Widowmaker, yes, looking through a fucking corridor, and it was with Josh, and he left me hanging because he's a dickhead.
Yeah,
he knew what he was fucking doing.
I cursed on 2018 on the Overwatch League desk because it were like 4 matches. Because those schedules were like 4 matches. You do 4 matches, and you do 4 matches 4 times a week. So you're tired, and at the end, I couldn't find my words, so I called. It was Prophet. I think he played Farah on Nepal Shrine.
Right.
And he was just like pounding on Farah, and I was gonna make a Top Gun joke, but I couldn't find the words, so I said that he was like fucking Maverick in disguise or something, And
yeah.
then Puckett looked at me like, he just grinned. He was just like,
yeah.
Everybody knows. And then he moved on.
Yeah,
but he took it like a champ. He just like moved right on, didn't even acknowledge it. I was grateful for that. But that's how
Josh just let me hang in that dickhead. I mean, did you, dude? When I swore,
I'm gonna try my desktop capture, by the way.
When I swore, it was like a fucking email. Got an email and it was like tagging everybody. Like, guys, I'd appreciate if you. I still got the email somewhere probably. It's like, guys, I'd appreciate if you didn't like. It's a professional broadcast. If we can cut the swearing down. I'm like, bro, I did it once, man. I did it once.
Leaks.
Leaks.
How do I put?
Johnny, fix it.
How do I change my
tech support stream now?
Yeah, I need to.
Let's restart the episode from exactly here. All right, there we go. Welcome to Plat Chat episode 275, when we all just got back from the Midseason Championship. Wow.
Because I was just like, I need to show gameplay here somehow. So I need to test the desktop capture. All right.
Pro tip, never use desktop capture. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
100% serious. Unless you want to leak shit on the internet.
Okay, but like what choice? Like I have to go to a scene, but I've never seen that scene, so I had to try it. It was trust me, I cleared off my desktop capture. There was nothing they could see, but I just needed to give it a go. All right, do you guys actually want to talk about EWC?
Yeah, what we got to talk. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, guys.
Right.
That's what I woke up at 8 a.m. for, to talk about EWC. Let's go.
Let's talk about Midseason Championship. All right, where do you guys want to start? I don't have a rundown for this one. I actually don't have a script. Usually I have a rundown. I plan it out. I don't have anything.
And the start is Johnny didn't show up until literally the day of the tournament.
That's true. Actually, I mean, we can go there if we want. Yeah, I showed up, 15 hours before? Because my flight got canceled on the Monday.
He said, I want to do the least amount of work possible. And that's why he came the latest and
left the earliest. It's actually crazy I did that.
Wait, that's so true. You came the latest, you arrived the latest, and you left the earliest too. And they were like, you're not going to be on desk because you have a 2 a.m. flight.
It was so crazy. Everyone was flying on Monday, right? Everyone's flying on Monday to get there Tuesday so they can rehearse and like walk around on Wednesday. So, all right, I'll do this quickly because I don't want to talk about this. But anyway, Monday afternoon, I'm in Portland, Maine. I'm gonna fly to Newark, then to Frankfurt, then to Riyadh. I get to Maine, Portland. It's 4 p.m. kind of. We start boarding. Everything is fine. Everything is great. I'm just about to board the plane. This long walk to the plane. I'm just about to board. People start deplaning, and I'm like, oh my god, like why are people deplaning? And I'm like, oh, do they need to put their like bags like in the check-in because like there's no space above people, so like there's too many check-in bags, like whatever. I don't get it. Pilot walks out and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, sorry, we just got news that we can't fly to Newark for 3 hours because there's a staff shortage at Newark Airport because of some political drama that I actually don't know the full story about. But there's no staff, there's no airport staff at Newark. And so we can't fly. They're like, we're going to leave at 6:30 instead of 4. I'm like, great, sit around 2 hours. 2 hours 30, another delay, 7:30. We're going to leave at 7:30. I'm like, great. Hey, I got to go to Newark and then I gotta go to Frankfurt, so am I gonna make my flight? And they're like, don't know. You could go to Washington though. You could go to Washington tonight, but when you arrive in Washington, it's 15 minutes after your departure. So do you want to gamble? And I'm like, no, that's insane. Like you're asking me to fly there after my flight is gone. So 7:30, it's crazy. There's no options. Cancel flight. They cancel the flight. Monday evening, it's like 7:30. I walk up to the woman and I'm like, hey, what's going on? It's a canceled flight. I'm not going to make my connection. They're like, sorry, you got to fly out tomorrow. Okay? There's no flights remaining for the day. You got to fly out tomorrow. I'm like, great. Been in the airport until 8 p.m. Have to find a hotel. I get a hotel then because the easiest way to get there is I have to go from Boston. So now on Tuesday, I have to take the bus 2 hours from Portland to Boston. Then I have to fly from Boston to Chicago to Frankfurt to Riyadh. And I get to Riyadh, it's like 10 p.m., wake up the next day, do the tournament, and then my flight is booked at 2 a.m. on the Sunday. 2 a.m. on Monday after the tournament is over. But the final start at like 10, and so I do the semifinals end. No, the third placement match ends, and they're like, "Hey, you gotta leave the venue because you gotta go to the airport." I missed the grand finals. I have no idea what happened in the grand finals except I saw the other team, QADSIAH, through on Esperanza. That's the only thing I saw from the grand finals. Board the plane, get home, last in, first out. That's my entire story.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Johnny still doesn't know what happened in the grand finals? And he's waiting to discuss it live right now. He's like, guys,
yeah.
I'm waiting to find out live Johnny reaction to grand finals. He doesn't know what happened.
I heard it was dog shit. I heard it was one of the worst finals of all time. Thoughts?
Well, Johnny, hang on, Johnny. You already knew that. All you have to know is, the Uber curse continues. He's on the finals. It's 4-0. We already knew this.
It was. Do you want to elaborate? Because I saw the Esperanza thing, and I think everyone knew as soon as they threw on Esperanza that it was over.
Esperanza actually was a good map. Some of the maps were good in the 4-0, so it's one of those 4-0s where like you had individually good maps, but yeah, that was a turning point. At that point, mentals were shattered. There was no coming back. So,
I think you should just start there, guys. Like
we might as well just start from the grand final. So
explain to me what happened. What happened?
Hang on, I did want to ask you one thing. If you were on the desk for the grand finals, would you genuinely have predicted Falcons? How would you have gone?
I said it because the last segment after the third placement match, Puckett on the desk said, Johnny's got to go to the airport. And I said, like, goodbye. And he was like, who do you think is going to win? And I said, Falcons. I said,
there we go.
Everyone said, yeah.
You and me, we had Falcons. And Jake had QADSIAH. He betrayed Merit. He had QADSIAH. And RACCOON went QADSIAH as well.
Yeah. I actually did, after the match, I did go to watch the predictions. I didn't watch the match, but I did want to check out your predictions because I'm petty. Oh my god. Oh, wow, that's a weak character point by me. Sorry. But I thought it was funny. I was curious where you guys went. Yeah, but what happened in the finals? I still don't know what happened.
It was just kind of bad. Like,
okay, great summary.
This is the analysis people tune in for? Is this what people tune in to watch?
Here's what happened. We had a lot of wasted bans. I think both teams were testing each other out. First map bans was Venture into Jungle Queen. Okay, the Venture does make a little bit of sense. But I also think maybe you kind of leave Venture to a little bit later when you also want to, like, protect the sim. Maybe they just want to protect the sim straight away for QADSIAH. It's fine. Jungle Queen, complete, total, stupid ban. Doesn't make any sense. Map 2, Esperanza, Doomfist, Life Weaver. Two bans that made no sense.
Wow.
These two bans are complete throwaway bans. Both teams were hardcore hiding their bans for 2 maps in a row. Like, we're not going to show any good bans. We're just going to, like, throw shit in the wall and just play, like, honest Overwatch where, like, bans don't exist anymore. It's like we're back in 2023, you know? So I can't remember the exact details of Lijiang Tower. I don't know if you have the exact memory rundown of Lijiang Tower, Jack. I can easily talk about it.
Dude, how the hell am I going to do this?
I mean, I just leave it there. Just say, I mean, you could put it in the center below AVRL's chin, I suppose. Yeah.
We'll take that.
Yeah, just like that.
Just a little something. Just a little something. By the way, the grand finals vote is 1 hour, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I left. I immediately after the third place segment,
I didn't know it was that short.
Left and went to the hotel to get my bags and then drive to the airport. By the time I was through security, the grand final was over. Like, I still had to wait 2 hours for my flight. So I could have stayed. This is the shortest grand final of all time.
We were like, wait, this Johnny could have just worked the broadcast.
All right. Sorry, I interrupted you anyway. Ban Venture, ban Junker Queen.
Yeah. It was really funny because I think going forward, people are going to do this, especially on Control. I think people are going to be throwing away bans to start off with so they have ammo for later. And I think it was I don't know how you felt, AVRL, but I feel like that was fairly expected for the first 2 maps. And I'm like, okay, both teams are going to try and play for, like, okay, we're going to a game 7. We're going to go all the way. But the problem is, if you don't go 1-on-1, like lose or win first, then lose or win the second game, you know, maybe you lose first, you win second, you just end up, you are just screwed. I think you are just at the point where, like, okay, now we have to start locking our real bans, because if we don't, we are just going to throw the rest of the series. It was just kind of a roll. I don't know if the bans really, I'm going to be honest, by the time map 2 happened, I think QADSIAH were just kind of boomed. Like,
we talk about the aside from the bans, the comps, because you'll notice this is for the audio listeners here. AVRL Map 1, Lijiang Tower, on Night Market, are playing Checkmate Tracer, Lambda, Farah, ZRD. Okay, the rest of it's normal. The D.Va, Lucio, Kiriko. But they're playing Farah, which they didn't do for the entire tournament. When was the last time Lambda actually locked in the Farah? Despite being
Regular
the Farah
season.
one trick that he used to be. We hadn't really seen Lambda play Farah for like a long ass time. He decided for this opening map, he'd bring out the Farah. And it was so strange because this would be the map normally Checkmate would just start on the Sim, like it would start on the Soj, or maybe the Cast, but typically the Soj, and then they just play normal QADSIAH Esports, except this time, they're like, you know what? I want to do something entirely different. And I think it costs them. I think if you're just going to run Tracer into Proper when Proper's having the live tournament, you're going to get shredded. They got shredded.
This map specifically as well, if you look at the engagements from our QADSIAH, their comp obviously plays fairly split. D.Va, Tracer, Kiri, Lucio, Farah, like it's going to play pretty split. But like as soon as Team Falcons spot like one player, they run at them, kill them, go to the next. Run at them, kill them, go to the next. It happened so often where like you're trying to play this split comp, but like you have no survivability, or it like looks like you don't. It felt bad. Like every single fight, you're like, okay, well, the Farah has to get a pick, surely. I just don't really understand it because Labdo had been playing so well on hit scan and like Soj the entire tournament, and like this is the secret sauce. You're playing like the crazy RACCOON counter comp where you don't want to play like the Tracer and like everything. You want to play Farah with Tracer and not the Sim stuff. Like you don't even want to play the Sim. It was so weird.
They overcooked.
It was so weird. I'm like, okay, if you want to default to like a Soj Tracer, I'm like, okay, that's kind of sick. Or like this comp, Tracer, Sojourn with the Sim. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Why the fuck are you now playing the Farah? On Night Market, it's decent. It's not the best. Like, I just feel like Sim is just so fucking good there. They did overcook massively. It wasn't good.
But then they did swap to their normal comp on Garden.
Yeah, and they got this round. They got they went to 3 rounds, right?
I guess, yeah, as someone who, again, didn't watch it.
Wait, they didn't?
What?
It's 2-0.
Oh, it was 2-0. Oh, shit. I was thinking of a different series.
So
yeah.
they played the normal comp and then lost anyway. So
There's series.
but there it is.
Oh, there's series.
There it is.
We're
There's
so
series.
back. We're so back.
We're so back.
Didn't they just get insta-picked again? That maybe that... I can't remember. It was so fucking quick. I can't fucking remember.
I would have been... I'm actually all for the Lambda Farah at some point in the series as like a throw them off kind of thing. But yeah, because they banned Venture. Because they banned Venture. And like you said, Falcons just banned a Junker Queen. I'm like, yeah, why don't you play?
But like,
I agree with I agree with what you're saying.
why are you banning
But
Venture?
like maybe in the series, like maybe like map 3, just like, hey, we got a Farah comp. Let's go out first fight, just play it, like try the, because like Twisted Minds at World Finals, where they were like, hey, we're gonna like roll out and play Farah on New Junk City first point. It's like a surprise strat, you know? And it like actually worked back then. Teams were like, what the fuck do we do against Farah on New York City? So like I'm for it as like a surprise ace up your sleeve kind of thing. But if it don't work, you gotta swap immediately. And it does make sense here because you banned Venture. So like,
but like, I wonder if they don't go to Night Market, they go to Control Center.
yeah, I mean, they need the way they win Lijiang is they have to win Control Center, and then either of these two playing the sim comp. Yeah.
You just swap D.Va, and the fire is like mostly counted. I talked to a lot of
Falcons
teams.
didn't even have to, but
I know.
Yeah.
Well, they eventually did. Like someone like later on in
did.
Night Market did swap D.Va. I talked to teams, and it's like they're like, yeah, fire is like pretty good into sim, but all you do want to do is swap D.Va, and you counter the fire. I'm like, oh yeah. So the fire is like kind of hard to play. That's what I got told. And so when I saw that, I was like a little surprised that QADSIAH would be the team that would pull through. But then again, I guess the cope would then be, yeah, but then they play the sim, D.Va, Soj, normal stuff afterwards, and they also just kind of got rolled because.
Are you planning to play Far on Night Market? Like, actually, because
it might have been.
I feel like
they have first map choice, right?
You don't ban the Venture in that case. You know, like it's
probably
just
ban the D.Va.
weird. Yeah, you banned
played
or
Diva.
like Sojourn or something, you know, like something that can kind of take out the Pharah. It was just weird. Like, is that
you ban the
secret?
Diva first
Sure.
if you really want to force the fire, but then you have to like. But then you have to assume that you want to get 9 market.
Falcons didn't even fucking play Diva in the end anyway.
Yeah, Sia plays Diva.
But then if you ban Diva, you ban your own Diva, which is like Xia's best hero, right?
Yeah.
So it's a huge problem. So you can't
You probably
do that.
just ban Sojourn if you really want to ban the. If you really
Yeah,
want
but
to
that's
play
like
the Pharah.
Lambda's best hero too. So if you're like trying
But
to
like,
really force the fire,
if you
then
want to
ban
play the Sojourn, and it's the Pharah, then you're gonna. Yeah, I guess because then if you go to other rounds, you're not gonna play the Pharah. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
you can't ban your own hero, your own.
I
player's
think
best
it was an
heroes,
overcook, like an overcook to a
Probably.
crazy degree.
Yeah, Junkbug is smart. I'd love to hear what Junkbug said about it because Junkbug is very smart.
He is. Yeah.
So I'd love to hear what his thinking was. I'm sure there was a very very good reason why. It just we don't understand it right now.
I'll tell you, after map 1, it was already looking scary. It's like, wait a minute. I mean, obviously with my Falcon Predator, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. But at the same time, I'm like, I would like this to be a much closer series, which Esperanza was. It was delivering some QADSIAH goodness at the start until it didn't. But
until they got reversaled, basically.
Yeah. Johnny watching from the customs queue.
Yeah. I didn't have any mobile data in my transport vehicle. So
Johnny
like,
logging into the airport Wi-Fi.
This is like, okay, there were like some insane mistakes here as well. There was I think the very this dude proper just fucking randomly dies here. Look how early he places the TP, by the way. He places TP. He doesn't. Is this the kill? It must be, yeah. And then he's TP on top of him. He doesn't have TP left, and he just insta dies. I'm like, holy shit! That you placed it so early for no reason. It felt. I was like, wow, that was a fumble and a half. But like, this is the comp they've been winning on for for the whole tournament, right? The sim comp.
Alcad?
Yeah, Alcad, yeah.
Falcons they looked good on sim coming into this one, but I think in a pure sim mirror, if this is all we play for the whole finals, I think QADSIAH might actually win. Because Falcons are definitely less drilled on the actual sim comp and the actual sim mirror than Alcad. It just so happens that Falcons don't have to play the sim. They started on the sim, realized they weren't winning on the sim. In fact, that's how Alcad got most of their initial lead. I mean, just proper dying the first minute, you could just see him off angling, and then QADSIAH just like TP 3 people on top of his body and just instantly frag him. Like that's how you know that Alcad, if it was purely a sim mirror, would probably take it. The way they took down TM eventually, right. Anyway, it was we'll talk about that game because when did proper eventually swap off sim? Because I feel like obviously it took until I believe 5 minutes left on the timer before Falcons started to actually make a comeback happen. And by that time, Alcad had about 100+ meters.
Oh yeah, about 5:30 left. Yeah,
because proper does he does an extra life for sim even after the ult, so he stays on sim, plays the photon barrier, plays the sim wall, and then stays an extra life on sim until at one point he dies around 550. Alcad have just capped, and then he decides to go venture at this point because, like, you know, that's what you're probably supposed to play into the sim. And then Falcons at this point, you would think, start to make the comeback, but they're still getting snowballed. And I believe at this point, QADSIAH snowball all the way to about 100 something, while Falcons have a 21, and then you have the legendary 21 to 115 comeback.
It was an insane comeback. Like as soon as you start winning that fight around, like when you end up trying to go for that reversal and then you hit the enemy checkpoint, and then it's like, oh shit! As soon as that happens, you're like, if you haven't banked ults, you are fucked. There was some hero plays though, to be fair, too. Yeah, and then after this, like AVRL said as well, they just got boomed after this. It felt like,
yeah,
like, oh, holy
hang
shit.
on.
This is one of the most boomable game types. I don't know how you guys feel. Maybe you can say Flashpoint if you're up 2 and then you lose 3. But like this one, especially when you get reversaled like that hard, it's fuck, man.
No, I think I agree with you actually. The way QADSIAH lost this map, I think that's about as boomed as you can be in Overwatch. I agree with you. That's a good take from you.
The point at which Alcad actually lose the fight and the comeback starts is I think about 130. At about 130, Lambda dies, Ziad pops Annihilation, and they start losing the fight. You're like, whatever though, it's 21 to 115, there's a minute left. surely no one caps that amount of time, even with OT. Like, it's just too much distance to cover. It's like, to be fair, we haven't hit AVRL theory yet because 121 would have been required. You need a 100-meter gap.
Right.
I keep forgetting. So we didn't hit the theory, which means maybe it is possible because we didn't hit the theory. There's like no time left to play through. Falcons have banked like a shitload of ultimates. They need to start pushing through. And there's a point in which both Merit and Proper die. I believe it should be the fight coming up on screen, Johnny. This next fight coming up. Merit and Proper both die. And in the OT, that should be it. Like, when you lose even one player, the run back distance is way too long. You lose
and
two
the spawn
players
timer as well.
Exactly. You lose 2 players. Guess what? You're playing a 3v5 in the final fight now because there's still one more fight left. Both Proper and Merit die, and they're just like, there's no way Falcons play a 3v5 and hold out, but they do because someone just stays alive forever. I believe he even annihilations.
Yeah, because
he just stays alive.
Jeez.
Stalls for Merit and Proper. They both come back. Someone's still alive, and they play a real 5v5. Look at them. 2 DPS dead, and then they both come back alive, and you play an actual 5v5 now, and then Merit and Proper just shred QADSIAH, and then they come back. It's like, holy.
Yeah, that Labda 2K should have been it. But yeah, look at how long this guy survives.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's just
insane. And then, like, the instant rush as they hit that shit too, and then Labda dies.
Did they die much later? How long did it why did it take so long for them to get back?
Who?
Oh, so Proper just died. Labda dies. No,
They
he doesn't die.
Taxied by Chio as well.
Yeah,
Really?
but like they have
They
a
must do.
Get
TP.
taxied.
I think Alcad probably just waited too long. If they just hard engage someone while the taxi's
Yeah, but
happening
like,
and-
look, the TP comes out here. Like, this is the moment they've like spawned and they're going. And then
they're already, the DPS
missiles,
are already back.
and then they're already there. They get back
Already
like
there.
3-5 seconds later,
and then they just
hit
rush straight
rush.
away to help someone.
and he uses
like-
block, which is OP.
Like, if Falcons don't play
Yeah.
this situation perfectly and someone just doesn't live, also I think Alcad again maybe just play too defensively here. They should have recognized their like player advantage, recognize the fact that Merit and Proper are coming all the way back from spawn, and if Chio's taxing them, that's like 3 players down. You're like basically playing a 2v5 at this point, or a 2v4.
Right.
Just go in and swarm this guy. Just swarm this ram and just completely overwhelm him. And
You
win.
got to force the. Yeah, it feels like they didn't force the block early enough because, like, he had. Look, this is when he blocks. So they TP.
They don't really have an angle
shit,
on him.
stop
This is
skipping around.
tough because he's playing like the bot. So like
He is, but you can stand on those ledges.
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I guess you're right, actually. Yeah, like, they could have walked up and, like, forced a shield or, like, forced the form earlier. They didn't need Siad to, like...
as amazing as this comeback is, these comebacks don't happen, and this is not just this game. It's basically every single push comeback of this caliber doesn't happen unless the winning team makes big mistakes somewhere. Like, you really have to. Like, the game at this point is so favored for Alcad. Spawns are unbelievably close to your team. The other team spawns are so damn far away, and they're getting further and further away.
Okay,
it's just like,
to be fair, I will interrupt you real quick. To be fair, on this map forwards, and where they were positioned, not too tragic, because you are coming out from the little basement, you're going through mid, through the cut, like the squiggly where the mega pack is, and you're being taxied that entire time as well. You're also on Venture and Sojourn. So
while
realistically, those spawns aren't as bad because they have forwards and they're getting taxied and they're on fast characters.
if you can reset, I guess, but the fact is you can't reset. Someone has to keep pushing payload, which means you're just like guaranteed.
Yeah,
into
they
a
should
way
have
earlier
forced
fight
Ram
you want.
earlier.
Tank is also OP.
100%, yeah.
Falcons are a tank. And
Tank
tanks are
is
OP.
also very OP right now. Yeah. I mean,
They did lose 3 fights.
So if
3 fights in a row,
if,
they lost.
If someone died,
Right.
here's the other thing: if someone died instead of Proper Merit, game's over. Because who touches for that long? No one touches for that long and stays alive, except the Ram. That just can like just sit there with annihilation. So if a different player dies, I guess if the supports die, Kiriko TP's back and Lucio just speeds himself. But like, yeah, if the Ram dies, it's gone. It's the fact that it wasn't the Ram who died, probably allowed this comeback to happen as well. But still a great comeback, still a really, really amazing comeback. These types of comebacks are extremely rare, and people will use this every time.
I'm
say
sorry,
like
Johnny.
pushes.
I need to.
You gotta do the package thing.
People-
Go,
I
man. Go, man.
People
Yeah.
will always say like, oh, if whenever I mention that push is typically a pretty unfair game, or people are like, yeah, but but what about this time? And they'll bring up this game or some other game as an example. And it's like the 5 games ever with this level of comeback happens. So it's a very, very enjoy this comeback because it's extremely rare. It's unbelievably rare that a comeback like this on a push ever happens. And it has to happen under extremely specific circumstances.
Wow, look at the Falcons play. It's rare you see like even Falcons players just like, oh my god, like how do we get back there? But they're like, holy shit, like because it's so unlikely.
They know that this comeback was so difficult, you know.
Yeah, I think
probably should have won this map.
I mean, look, it's gonna sound like it's hindsight, but kind of the reason why I predicted Falcons over QADSIAH was because I know they are like so good. Not when it comes to doing like 1% comebacks on push, but like because every single fight they're going to be extremely good. You know, like they're just going to be excellent so many percentages of the game that if you do one slip up, you do one mistake, they're gonna punish you. If your sound barrier timing is a little bit off, they're gonna capitalize it. If you utilize your nemesis form too early, if you fly on diva, like they'll punish every single small mistake. So like that's kind of why I predict the Falcons come like, okay, you might have a compositional advantage, maybe you're really good on the sim comp, but Falcons are really good at like literally everything in the single game.
Yep.
So like
the veterancy,
can you beat them like enough to over the course of a series? It's like extremely difficult, even though you might be a better sim team. So
I back the veterancy. I back the fact that I know this is a veteran team that like has so many world champions. I think literally every single player on this team has been a world champion, right? Which is an unbelievable thing to have. It's just all been in the game at the highest level for so long. There's way more inexperienced players on QADSIAH. Well, yeah, no, there still is. I mean, Ziad obviously the standout there with like being the 17-year-old rookie.
It's insane. It's 17 actually, yeah.
But like, at least you have some like you have some like ex Overwatch League pros in there. Lab is more of like a recent play in the last 2-ish kind of years that have been kind of popping off. Like I guess since the World Cup win in 2023. So Falcons just in general, they've played under like way more intense situations because they've been punished by teams like Crazy Raccoon, where you talk about the 1% differences, where like you make a tiny slip up, Crazy Raccoon punish you most times. You know, this tournament obviously was a bit rough for them. We could talk about that later, but Falcons are just like they'll be able to clutch out in those types of situations because they've been on the opposite end of that so many times. The Crazy Raccoon are the ones just slightly edging them out and clutching them out in really unlikely situations. Yeah, then we had map 3. And to memory, I'll check the scoreline real quick as well, but I'm pretty sure it was a 3-0. No, it was a 3-1 in
3-1, right?
Yeah, it was not a 3-0. It was a 3-1 in Ujung City. But we did have some situation on here that I don't know. I feel like this was still a pretty one-sided-ish map. You'll notice the Diva ban coming through. So by map 3, we're not doing fake bans anymore. We're doing real bans now. The BAP ban is obviously real, although I will have to say that this is the kind of ban that kind of screws Landon a little bit. You know how I said earlier, like, do you really want to be banning out your team's players' best heroes? Like, you do not want to ban out Ziad's Diva yourself. You don't want to ban out your own Soj. Do you want to ban out your own BAP, given that Landon's best hero is BAP? I think he plays a pretty good Kiriko in this meta, but his BAP would have been pretty crazy too. I don't know if BAP is super meta on this map anyway, but they banned it out. They play Lucio Kiriko. And the Diva response is really nice because Ziad does play Diva on this map too.
Yeah, that's how they beat Twisted Minds, so map 6, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Look, I didn't watch the map, AVRL. I said, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what's happening because I was in a car.
This guy says, let's do a Plat chat recap. I didn't watch, by the way. Oh,
I was traveling. I didn't have any mobile data. I guess I have no excuse. I could have bought Lufthansa's fucking $50 flight Wi-Fi and downloaded it maybe. Sorry, my bad. I'm not giving Lufthansa my $50.
QADSIAH did win the first point, and then Falcons just locked in 100-0 the next point. Saw a lot of proper sim here. I'm trying to remember if he gets off the sim or not at any point, but the fact that proper is like, okay, we lost using the sim on Eichenwald. Sorry, not Eichenwald. On Esperanza. Swaps to Venture, starts winning. And then Falcons walk into map 3 on New Drunk. He's like, let's play the sim again. and they play like a raw sim mirror. Like this is like a proper mirror now. I'm not even just talking about the player. I'm just talking about in general. They're like playing an actual one-to-one mirror now. And then they're kind of winning this mirror, and actually do eventually win the mirror in the entire map is super impressive, because I thought Falcons were going to abandon the sim entirely. They look like they were like, even throughout the tournament, not that willing to play sim anymore. At a certain point, the whole time, you remember me and this, I'm like, yeah, Falcons are one of the sim teams. They're gonna be like our Canada team. They're gonna play the sim. They're like one of the only Korean teams, maybe the only Korean team that actually plays the sim, because they got Spark on the team. He knows how to coach the sim. That's a specialty. But then you look at how they play across tournaments. Proper's just like, no, I'm not gonna play the sim anymore. They just play the Tracer the entire time. Dominates on the Tracer. Plays the Adventure when he needs to. It looks really good. But on this map, he just brings the sim back out, and Falcons just like genuinely win on the sim. And I think, as much as we say that QADSIAH were boomed on map 2, got to talk about the fact that if you're QADSIAH, you're thinking, holy shit, we just lost a sim mirror to Falcons. What do we do now? We can't beat them when Proper's playing dive.
I'm back.
We can't beat them when he's playing sim. What do we do now? Now you are like unbelievably boomed. If you weren't boomed before, you're like you're done now, and they were done now after this.
Yeah, we're talking about
what did they ban here? It was BAP and
D.Va
Tracer,
and BAP.
right?
D.Va BAP.
Oh, D.Va and BAP. It's too blurry. I can't see. D.Va BAP.
Oh, wait.
What
I
was the
can fix
topic?
that, I think. No, we're just talking about map 3.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess I don't have an excuse for not watching a 1-hour VOD, but
It's fine.
what was I gonna say? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, so we talked earlier about how the reason me and Kev we predicted Falcons was because, like, they're so good at just Overwatch that even though you're good at sim comp, like, you have to beat them at Overwatch, which is like extremely difficult to do because they're 5 of the best players in the entire world, and you know,
That's very meta take.
Chio's on comfort, someone's on comfort, Maris on comfort. It's like it's not going to be easy, right? And so, like, even though, like, is Checkmate, you know, theoretically like a smarter sim than Proper, is Checkmate going to have better sim walls, better sim TPs, like all this shit?
Probably.
Like, yeah, probably. But like, you still have to beat Merit on Sojourn and Chio Fielder and someone playing arguably like one of his best heroes, right? So, that's just extremely difficult to do. And then you have to do it on grand finals in a major tournament. They've been there a few times. So I guess I'm not super surprised that Falcons lost in the sim mirror, even though QADSIAH were talked about so much going into this tournament.
I think Falcons do also kind of clutch up when it counts. I look at world finals and stuff, you know. I think
Falcons are good at brawl comps. News.
They have
at 11.
Yeah. They also just have the like finals aura. They come in, and not in their home region because it's crazy recruiting always win, but like world finals is just like, okay, they're just gonna win, guys. They're just better at brawl. It felt inevitable after that comeback. I'm not sure how much the mental did impact QADSIAH, but it kind of been fucking great. I mean, the camera panned when after that map 2, and it was just no one looked good. It like
whereas 170. I want to go back to that now. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, like you wouldn't. Of course, you wouldn't feel good. You wouldn't be in a good mental state. But yeah, it's.
So I said, if your mental broke after map 2, and then you play map 3, where Falcons just hard mirror you the entire time, Proper stays on sim the whole map, and then Falcons win in the sim mirror, you're done after that. Like, if your mental wasn't broken by then, your mental is hard shattered 100%. Now, because you lost to the Falcons, like, Venture Tracer stuff.
Yeah.
And now you can't even beat them in a sim mirror. You're like, Al-Qaeda are meant to be the best sim team in the world. And up until that point, I think they were. Because you saw what happened early in Esperanza when Proper was on the sim, and he just got TP'd on and dies, and they were just losing for like 4, 5, 6 minutes in a row. And you're thinking, there's no way Falcons just play a whole map of pure sim after that. And then they do, and then they win that. It's like, that's crazy.
The thing is, too, it gets worse for you as well. Because Falcons, because they threw away a couple of bans at the beginning, it only gets worse. Because you are also throwing, not this map, but like you're still kind of like throwing bans away. And then you're like, we're still losing. Okay, we need to start using our bans like properly. And then Falcons are like, we can just sit and ban whatever the fuck we want because we're still winning even when you ban whatever hero. And also, your team is going to be way more affected when it comes to bans than our team. I mean, arguably, you could say, okay, maybe you ban Sojourn, maybe that hurts Merit a ton, and it would because you can't play like Ash or like a hard hit scan or anything. But you then ban Soj away from like fucking Lambda, like that feels fucking terrible. And so you probably would never ban Sojourn, you know? You're really stuck in a catch-22. And I think while it's great being the best sim brawl team in the world, like you said, you lost the mirror, but then also the ban strategy just goes upside down because you've been throwing away bans this long and you've been losing as well. So you're wanting to trade. If you are throwing away bans at the beginning, the ideal situation is that you trade maps, but that doesn't happen. And then you catch them out at the very end. You know, that's the kind of strat there.
God, I have two directions. I'll take this now on the back of what you just said, but they're kind of different. Yeah. I guess I'll say first. I did like an Instagram AMA yesterday, and someone asked, like, what is NA's version of like Symmetra comp? Kind of just like what meta does NA need for like an NA team to pop off? Like EMEA did this tournament.
Life Weaver Bap.
And so, yeah, I mean, Life Weaver Bap, the serious answer. But I kind of was like, I spent like 5 seconds thinking about this, but I was like, you'd probably want, you know, some like hit scan tracer bullshit, right? But the problem is, if you get in a tracer hit scan meta, then all regions are good because all regions have a sick tracer and a hit scan, right? So it's like, okay, sure, maybe like, I don't know, 3-0, like whoever, Chronic, whoever. It's just like, oh, we have a sick hit scan player and a sick tracer player. Just like, okay, well, you know, Lip Pisang or like Merit Proper, like now you have to beat them at that meta. You can even throw in like an EMEA team in there, you know? And so NA doesn't really have their own version of a Symmetra comp, I suppose, when it comes to like they be sick at this comp. Maybe you could go some like infected wrecking ball or something. Like I don't want to spend too much time on it, whatever.
But like, can I quickly jump off of you?
No, I guess the point I wanted to get to was that you can be really sick at Symmetra comp, but you still have to go through the best brawl team in the world, which is Falcons.
Yes.
It's like it's not a guaranteed win. It's like you have to go through Crazy RACCOON and Falcons in most general metas because they're the two best teams in the world. So even if you have the best imaginary EMEA meta, you still have to go through Falcons, which bread and butter is brawl. Good luck.
I think NA as well, like, a very career pilled in that regard, you know? Like, EMEA has always been, we're going to play Brawly, we're going to play these rush comps.
Don't skip the spy, Johnny. We can leave it here.
It's a nice setup. We did it this one. It was a nice setup. It's cool.
It is nice. You're always going to, EMEA, always playing Brawly, sim shit, like, kind of slightly off the wall kind of stuff, you know? That you wouldn't consider, like, a more classical meta. And then NA is always like, okay, we're doing the Korea comps, we're playing what Korea plays, but pound for pound, our players just aren't as good. So, like, if you are playing Tracer, Ashe, Tracer, Soj, Genji, Tracer, Monkey, like any kind of comps like this, I don't think it's possible for NA to win. Like, I really don't. On an international stage, I do, and just with how the region is historically like favored comps, like I don't think it's possible. I really don't.
Well,
it feels hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think this finals will obviously haunt the QADSIAH players for quite a while because it's like they were offered a chance, just like, hey, you're gonna have a real good chance of winning a tournament, and unfortunately they couldn't fulfill on that opportunity, which don't blame them. It's incredibly tough. But these opportunities come around very seldom.
Yep.
So
I think it's still good for the region though. Like making it that far. I mean, Crazy RACCOON lost, obviously. Like that is like massive for the fucking region. Like huge. And I think still it's gotta be tier 1 is Korea, tier 2 is EMEA, and you know, tier 3 currently is NA.
Yeah, I mean this was the only time EMEA turned up for a major. So it's good for them. They got the right meta for EMEA,
yeah, which is cool. So, you know, like I think that's really fun for the region because sometimes because the way, like I pitched before, like NA is kind of following Korea and then EMEA has its own kind of thing, And then EME shows up, and it's like, okay, well, actually, the Crucia's better. You know, it feels good. It feels, even though losing 4-0, it still feels good for the region making it this far and having such an insane tournament. Like, look at Twisted Minds, like an insane tournament from Twisted Minds.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
How good does it feel for Falcons when they full hold QADSIAH on their first initial attack on circuit?
Oh yeah,
and now they're playing May. And now they're playing May. By the way, this map, GK one, we talk about like NA not being as good, but it's like, I mean, GK got more maps off of Falcons than QADSIAH did.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I want to talk about that. That was pretty awesome.
And Proper lost on the May versus GK, but he wins on the May here. He wins on the May here, and they just like basically push on through. Their attacking side ends up being like just a complete walk down, if I remember correctly. But their defense as well is like, there's QADSIAH's initial fight. They got some kills. I think this is probably the one. QADSIAH gets some kills. They start pushing along, and the Falcons just like completely stonewall them out.
Yeah, it's like you need to beat them on the first attempt, kind of like in the groups between Virtus Pro and Weibo Gaming when they went to map 5 on Midtown. And Virtus Pro has always played this like poke heavy defense on first. You know, they came out like playing like Farah, was it Ilari Bap, and like
super poke.
When you first see that in like a match, you're like, oh fuck, like how do we beat this? And you have to like think about it. And if you haven't seen or played against that before, it's like a nightmare to just like adapt in the moment. It's kind of like when Liquid in the group stage of stage 2, they first played like Lifeweaver BAP, and they're like, oh fuck, what the fuck is this comp? Like like we've never seen Lifeweaver BAP in our lives. Like how do you actually like beat this composition? We've never thought about this in our lives. Falcons, they do that, but then they learn from like one match so quickly that they're so much better come the second or third time they play against something. So they might have struggled against GK, you know, playing some of this May venture stuff, but it's almost like they played one match of it and then they're locked in and they're like insanely good at it because they learned from their mistakes on the initial time. So it's almost like you have to throw them off. And you know, I don't want to say cheese. You don't have to cheese the Falcons teams, but you kind of have to. You kind of have to rock up with something that they haven't adapted against, because otherwise they'll just beat you by pure like level of play, mechanics, teamwork.
Right.
It's crazy. So I have no doubts that Falcons played this way better than versus GK, obviously, because they like learned from that match and then they were good enough to play in the grand finals versus a boomed out QADSIAH. Okay, so they full hold here, and it's just over.
It is basically over.
To wrap up Team Falcons, I have a few things to say about QADSIAH, but to wrap up Team Falcons, Proper MVP, insane. I mean, starting off on the group stage on Tracer, just insane. Adapted, played, you know, the May, Sim, Venture. AVRL can rejoice.
I'm rejoicing. I'm currently rejoicing. People were like, oh, merit rob, bro. It's like, hold on, guys. It's the tournament MVP, not the finals MVP. It's the MVP for the whole tournament. And even in the finals, Proper played like a bunch of different heroes. He ended up playing, you can see the May here. He played the Venture. He played the Sim. He played the Tracer. The fact that he played the Sim and Falcons beat QADSIAH on that is impressive. Yeah, did he feed a little bit on Esports? Yes. But then he played the Sim on New Drug City and they won. So his flexibility came through big time. And then he carried his ass off and Tracer, like probably the best Tracer gameplay we've seen. Absolutely this year.
It was crazy.
I don't want to say of all time, but definitely this year. That's the best we've seen.
Yeah. It was crazy because we were talking about like who's going to be finals MVP or like MVP of the tournament. Like halfway through, and everyone was like, yeah, it's probably Proper if Falcons win. Like he was playing that good that early on. It was another worldly performance from Proper. And it feels so, dude, every single time it's like, people be saying this for a long time. It's like, oh, glazing the motherfucker. Like we're always glazing Proper, always talking about him. He's the best. He's the fucking best. And it feels like not a lot of the time, but sometimes it feels like glazing him for glazing's sake because it's like the easy. Yes, he's super sick, so he can just glaze. But like this one, this tournament's been, I'm like, fuck, man. You just can't not. You can't not say this guy popped the fuck off and was just one of the best players in the tournament. Well, it was the best player in the tournament. Like, you just can't not say that. You could just, there's no argument for it. The guy was just too good.
Check the VODs. People that do not believe, check the VODs. Look at the maps. Check the stats. I don't think we have any stats. It's funny. I talked to, I brought this up on the stage shit with Jake. I wanted to bring it on the desk, but we didn't have time. But I did actually want one of my bathroom trips. Because for us, fun fact, for us to use the bathroom, we have to walk from our little production tent to basically the side of the stage. And sometimes there's players and coaches just smoking out there and chilling, taking photos. And I go to the bathroom and I walk past Smash and I have a brief conversation with Smash. And this is before the finals. I'm like, Smash, the coach of VP. Who do you think is going to win? Falcons or QADSIAH? And he's like, Falcons, I guess. Because Proper's just shitting on everyone. In his exact words. Wow. Proper's just shitting on everyone.
That's so good. Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? You're not wrong. Proper is just shitting on everyone. I think you're right. Funny. I think the pure aura of like how hard he's destroying competition and how good Falcons are at Brawl, I don't think they need Sim to win. I think he just can hard spam Tracer and win.
Yeah.
So
seriously.
Yeah.
His venture too, by the way. Oh boy, that was good. It was a good venture play as well. He was just freaky the whole tournament.
How do you? I mean, tough luck, but how do you vote? How do you vote like a match MVP to like a support player when you have a damage player
when you have
doing this stuff?
You just, dude, it's like, oh yeah, okay. It's like in the Overwatch League when we always used to talk about like Lucio players. It's like, should we give the MVP? Should we give like, because we have player of the match every single match, right? So it's like, should we just give it to the Lucio player this time, bro? Like, should we just do it? Because we've given it to the fucking DPS like every time. Like, right. You just, unfortunately, support, especially Lucio players, it's just not a glamorous role. But then we blamed for everything. It's like, actually, it is actually just the solo queue meme. You will be blamed for everything, and it's just you were invisible. If you're doing a perfect job, you're probably pretty invisible.
It's also
which is fine. You're not dying. You're not Ajaxing or anything like that. You know, like DPS is just the more flashy role, and it's the role that kills people. So
it is kind of rigged as well. Not from a scripted 100%. Sense, but it's rigged in the sense that, like the observing, it's like, you know, they'll go to support players sometimes for good reason.
What's more exciting, bro?
Them.
Adventure or Lucio?
But exactly, like, you know, the role to. I don't want to speak for observers now because they actually do like very committed work and like very structured work about how they prioritize and how they think about all this stuff. So I don't want to generalize it, and I don't want to like say that it's easy, but. You know, they try to capture most final blows. They try to capture, you know, where the team fights start and end. But, like, you miss a lot of nuance that way. So, like, you know, you miss the details of, like, where are all the Brigitte repair packs going? Or, you know, like, shit like that, which is insanely important in, like, Brig comms, for example. But I think a good example of this was the 2024 World Finals where, you know, they played this Mauga Mirror, Crazy Raccoon Falcons. And then, you know, you watch it and it's like, oh, you know, this player's popping off. But then I think in hindsight, people pointed out that like Fielder was just like a huge difference maker on Brig. But until you actually have like VOD access, it's like really hard to assess that. So in the live moment, because you miss so much of that nuance, what is happening behind the player, what is happening to the side of the player. You know, you can watch the ultimates and all that stuff. You can, you know, scout the health bars if you like, but it's really hard to catch all that stuff. And so, like, it's very hard to see all the work as support players are doing in the middle of the grand finals. So it's kind of rigged against them in the first place.
Yeah, it's like a really good example of that is like good boops. Like,
right. And we're sitting in the green room sometimes just like, wow, great boop. You know?
Yeah. And like, but a lot of the time, the general audience, like most people, aren't looking for those small things. And even like even when we're like, oh, you know. It's just like, oh, what happened there? Like, I don't know. It's like, oh, actually, it was a boop. Like, actually, the Lucio hit right click at the perfect point. And, like, capturing that on ops is, like, so fucking hard. And when they do, and when you do capture that shit, it's like, holy fucking shit.
Johnny, rewind the VOD. Johnny, rewind the VOD 5 seconds.
Wait, what? Oh, Majed. Are you talking about Majed?
Wait, what is Majed there? What? Wait,
you didn't see it. You didn't see it.
What?
I forgot. Yeah, bro came out, lifted the trophy.
Wait, was he the first one to do it?
No, someone was, but
okay.
the whole team did one first.
The whole
but then, but then like, it was like,
Jet
wow,
comes out
Legit
of
just
nowhere.
teleported. He just 7TP'd onto the
he actually
stage.
SimTP'd him.
SimTP on the stage. Oh, that's so funny. I didn't notice that.
Majed the go. But yeah, it's like realistically, I think it's okay. You know, it's fine. I don't think it's something people should be too hung up about. Like DPS players will more than likely get MVPs and player of the matches, etc. And then it'll be tank players, and then it'll be support players. And it's unfortunate that some of the biggest moments for supports, especially Lucio players, is when you Ajax and when you cost your team $80,000 when you Ajax.
Oh, those are the best moments, and those will put you into GOAT contention. If you do that, you become the GOAT of Overwatch.
Yeah, those are the best viewing moments for sure. But like, it's just is what it is, you know. Like Fielder is ridiculous. Like one of the best fact sports.
I think Jake said that he thought Fielder was MVP of the T1 series, the semifinals. He was like, Fielder was insane. Yeah, I think it was the T1 series, but there was one series. Jake was just like, wow, Fielder was amazing in the series.
He was quietly really good the whole tournament. It's just like his style of map isn't the shoe style where you're just gonna see him pop off.
Yeah,
he's just gonna like keep you alive. He's gonna hit all his heals, hit the right lamp timings.
He's always
if
been
he's
that
doing
way
his job.
too.
If he's doing his job, you're probably not gonna notice him that much, but you're gonna notice that no one's dying on Falcons. So he's one of those BAPs that's very reliable. So in this meta, that's exactly what you want. I mean, it'd be nice if you got kills too, but when you got Merit and Proper just getting all the kills, it doesn't matter. You just gotta keep those two alive and you win.
Exactly.
You might as well get to the actual proper MVP moment so we can like check out his cool little. He got a little.
Wait, the bot ended.
Okay. Well,
no, he got a little thing.
I will give you a VOD. Here, I'll give you
it was like
because there's a whole bit afterwards where like they do the key looting and then they do
I can pull it up real quick. I can pull it up.
I'll give you the exact timestamp so you don't have to like.
Yeah, I'll go to the Overwatch Esports YouTube.
Here you go, buddy. I just linked it for you.
What is the time?
There's a whole bit. You just broke something. But
there
was a yeah.
I didn't do anything.
I think
Jaws did something.
Sorry. No, yeah, I think my Firefox just updated. So
it's 8 hours and 31 minutes in the live VOD, but I also posted for you.
I just got it.
There's a whole so. I think you got to rewind because they're giving him the trophy first, so you get to see the trophy. Here you go.
MVP, cool.
So there's a Sony MVP little. I don't know. It's like, kind of like a medal.
Yeah, it's a little chain.
And then there's a necklace as well.
It's like a pendant, yeah.
Yeah,
and it has
pendant.
like it looks like little diamonds and stuff in it, but yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Wow.
And then you look at these stats. I think are these tournament stats the whole tournament?
Dude, it's so hard. it's like your limbs damage. It's like who the fuck?
No. Hang on. There's one really insane stat though. It's
the KD.
The KD stat. Is that for the whole tournament? So the whole tournament he held onto a 432 KD.
I don't know. It's 432
crazy.
good?
That's true.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's good. You're getting 4 times the amount of kills compared to deaths.
Is it final blows? Where are the limbs?
I hope so. I hope it's final blows.
I would assume it's not a limbs. If it was a limbs, it would probably be way higher, right?
432 final blows to death sounds pretty good. Yeah, that sounds pretty insane.
It's incredibly good. Are you kidding me?
But in limbs, I'd be like, okay. But final deaths, I'm like, or final blows, I'm like, whoa. Okay.
Surely it's final blows. Yeah.
Surely. But I don't know because that's K. What does K mean?
Kills.
This is not Counter-Strike.
Kills.
Yeah, I know, but I'm joking. Like we don't know what kills mean. It's not Counter-Strike, you know.
Overwatch has always had that. It's like,
we had a graphic.
It is kind of funny
when we had we had Kellex on the desk after they won the semifinal, and the stat card showed like, oh, you did like 111,000 healing done. Like, is that a lot for a series? And Kellex like, I don't fucking know. Like, how much is that good? Like, I don't know how much healing that is or something.
Keep playing the VOD. Keep playing the VOD.
Stats are so funny in Overwatch, actually.
Are they gonna do the key totem?
Yeah, they got the key totem. Yeah, then they select 3 teams.
Wait, are they walking all the way to the other arena?
They will eventually.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting Johnny didn't see any of this. This part was actually really cool. I thought this entire ending sequence, because usually, like most tournaments, the tournament's over, it's finished. Yeah, we grabbed the trophy, we lifted it, and that's it. Goodbye, see you next year. But here, they walk around the stage. There's a nice little stage tour
That's
as
pretty
well.
cool, yeah.
This isn't backstage. So to the right, these stairs are where the fans will go up. You see the security's holding back all the fans.
That's cool.
And now they're going to go to the looting wall, which has got all the crush keys of all the other teams.
Oh, they get to pick. I haven't seen who they picked.
3 keys.
I gotta pick Crazy Raccoon.
You can't pick Crazy
T1.
Raccoon. So the
They can
reason
only
you
pick
can't
teams to
pick...
beat.
No. You can't pick any team except Crazy Raccoon. The reason why you can't pick Crazy Raccoon is because only the team that eliminated Crazy Raccoon can pick them, which is Twisted Minds. Any other key is eligible except theirs.
Wait,
So
what do you mean?
pick
Because Twisted Minds beat them? That doesn't make sense.
Yes, Twisted Minds is the only team that can loot Crazy Raccoon. No one else can. That's it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Falcons could pick all the teams they eliminated.
And every other team as well, except for Crazy Raccoon. Falcons can pick any team except Crazy Raccoon.
I'm with Johnny. That actually doesn't make sense.
That's what I got. I literally got told this. I'm not joking. They can pick any team except Crazy Raccoon.
Okay. Well,
we're on desk. Production is telling us what the rules of the looting are. This is the rules of the looting.
Okay. But so who did QADSIAH beat? Virtus Pro? Could they pick Virtus Pro?
Any team can pick any team except for the defending champion, where only the team who eliminated the defending champion can pick.
Defending champion. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Any team can pick any team. But you can't pick Crazy Raccoon unless you beat them.
You can't pick the defending champion, the champion previous, unless you're eliminated. That makes more sense. All right. Yeah. Okay. So they picked T1, WEIBO, and who else was it?
WEIBO and QADSIAH. T1, WEIBO, and QADSIAH. Yeah. The WEIBO pick is really like that. Is just massive respect being shown, because it's like, yeah, that's the other team that we considered to be like, you know, the team that really pushed us.
Yeah. I mean, what? It'd be VP, Liquid, or like, yeah, they picked WEIBO instead.
Yeah, they could have picked GEEKAY because they went to 5, but like QADSIAH because they beat them in the final makes sense. T1 because they beat them in the semis and another Korean team makes sense. And then it's like, who else should we get? Well, WEIBO pushed us the hardest, so we're gonna pick WEIBO. I think GEEKAY did push them, but that final map was like really weak from GEEKAY. But WEIBO, the entire series, all 5 maps, really pushed Falcons. I think I would argue that WEIBO was Falcons' hardest competition this entire tournament.
I got a Falcons question for you guys. This is like proper sports TV topic. Who's been more successful since the end of the Overwatch League? Team Falcons or Crazy Raccoon?
Let's start counting the titles.
They have 1 EWC each. Falcons won the 2024 World Finals, and Crazy Raccoon won Dallas and Champions Clash.
I would have. Okay, just
which one do you value more?
Prestigious.
I'm not counting Asia lands and like Korea stages, but AVRL, if you want to add that in, then I'm all for it if you want to add in Asia lands and stuff too.
I would say Falcons because they won World Finals as well.
Crazy Raccoon has the better head-to-head, I'm pretty sure.
Crazy Raccoon does have the better head-to-head. Ooh.
I love it.
I think the World Finals does count for more, but the extra stage win, the extra major win from Crazy Raccoon also does count for a lot.
Yeah, it is big.
I would still say right now it's even. I would say it's even despite Crazy Raccoon winning 1, because I count the World Final as like a really big win. But I'm not going to say that Falcons have done better because they've technically won one.
A hater could be like, oh, they got Mauga meta, they got lucky, and Crazy Raccoon won 2 fair other ones.
Oh, dude, this is such cope. I hate this, like, oh, lucky meta. It's like people are saying like, oh, EMEA got lucky meta. It's like, no, bro, there's no such thing as lucky metas. Get good at the meta. That's the answer. Like, I'm sorry, like if you want to be a good team, you just have to be good in general. That's MS Dosseri, by the way. He's the chairman of Falcons, lifting the trophy.
Cool.
There's another cool moment at the end here. Watch this. So now they're gonna walk through. This is like the toilet area where they're also like got their previous winners and stuff. This is like a hallway between the stages for the fans that don't know. And now they're gonna walk through this across the. I want to call it road. It's not really road, but you know what I mean. Just across like.
It's a boulevard.
This next area into the boulevard, into the STC Gaming Hall. Which, fun fact, is where they started their journey. They started there and they end there. STC Gaming Hall is where they played the LCQ.
LCQ, yep.
And this is where the totem is, which Johnny knows because he did a segment there.
Yeah.
Which they did get extra money for, by the way, an extra 50k because they came from LCQ.
The Fonzo Award.
They got the Fonzo Award because they. Which is
$450,000 total. They got 400k plus 50k, and then Proper got his an extra 10k on his own for the MVP.
A year from now, in some other fucking esport like Honor of Kings or whatever they're called, they'll just be like, "Oh, last year Falcons won the Jafonso Award. They came from LCQ and they won the entire thing." And they'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, they did that. That's crazy!" And we'll be like, "Oh yeah, they're the best team in the world." And they just
so pretty sure that's Prince Faisal. Yeah, it says in the bottom. He did show up. They were originally saying that Prince Faisal couldn't make the thing, but then he was there. He's presenting the frame, which then they will put onto the totem. And next year they're in a thing called the Heroes Club or the Champions Club, not to be confused with a very popular streamer who has another similar club. Is
HRH stands for His Royal Highness, right?
His Royal Highness, yeah. And so in the player lounge, this player VIP lounge, which is above the stages, there's an area of that lounge which is only reserved for like EWC champions. So I saw Crazy Raccoon hanging out, and then I was like, "What is this area?" They're like, "Oh yeah, that's the area."
My jet is like buds.
Yeah, my jet's down below.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Admiral.
And so now they're going to put the frame into the totem. So there's a whole totem ceremony. By the way, people were wondering, like during the LCQ, there were like long ass breaks. We're like, "Oh yeah, we're just going to take an hour break." I'm pretty sure it was because of this before another game. I think another game was doing the totem ceremony.
Holy.
And so they ended up having like a big ass break for it. But yeah, this is awesome. Like there's like all these different celebrations.
This is pretty fucking rad. They like closed the event. This is crazy. I haven't seen this. This is awesome.
I do like how the little triangle before he puts it in is like spinning in LEDs. It's quite cool.
It already says Team Falcons. They've already like, I don't think it's engraving. I think it's like,
wait, that's
they placed
awesome.
The text. So they placed the text immediately as soon as Falcons won, and then yeah, now they get the thing up there. He gets lifted up to put on there. All the smoke and stuff comes through.
Wow.
This ending ceremony is honestly like really good. Like again, most games you lift the trophy and you say goodbye and that's it. Here, there's like a whole bunch of extra stuff that I think is like super cool.
Yeah, it feels really meaningful. That was really cool.
And there's more. Don't stop the VOD.
And wait, there's more.
All right, I'm waiting. Is it soon? They're just kind of posting.
It's soon.
It's a cool shot. It's a cool shot. Yeah,
it's soon. Don't worry. Don't worry. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Okay. I don't want to spoil what it is. I don't want to spoil what it is.
Someone tripping or something?
I just want I want your raw reaction to it when you see it. I don't want to spoil it. Just wait.
Do I need audio?
Just chill. You don't need audio.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. We talked about it.
So fun fact, there's another totem behind. So that was the totem, and there's a 2024 totem behind that, which has all the 2024.
Oh, this is Gibraltar?
Including,
what the fuck?
Yeah, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. This isn't even the thing I'm talking about, but this is pretty cool too. They got all the highlights on Gibraltar. Watch them with Gibraltar.
They're crushing all the keys.
And then watch this part. This is pretty nice as well.
All right.
Aldrich falling, and it's Crazy Raccoon.
Oh my god.
Dead.
Oh, the lore.
Storytelling. Oh, storytelling.
Quartz. It's in the
Look
photo.
At Quartz's face.
Oh, funny
they put Quartz's
Astro.
face on the Sojin, which I thought was pretty cool.
His face is on the Sojin. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
It was cool.
They put
see the TP
bomb.
Oh yeah. It was cool. They put Funny Astro's head over the Lucio, because you're like immediately like, oh, that's Funny Astro.
Oh, that's that guy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, it puts the person behind the hero. You know,
the hero, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we were kind of chatting about it, but like after me and Jake, we did that totem bit, recorded that for the show and stuff. It's just like it's kind of cool, like how it combines all the esports into one thing, because you know nowhere else has that been done.
Johnny is coming.
So it feels real meaningful in that way. And it's cool because like you get all these players from different games rooting for their own team, you know, like that. Like, you know, if I was on Liquid, I didn't care about games. Yeah, or the fans, but also like the players, you know, like I'm a player for Falcons. I'm like, I hope we do well in all the other esports. So, yeah.
All right, here it is, Johnny. Here it is.
All right. What?
Is Johnny going to react? Are you going to say something, Johnny?
What are you guys doing here? We haven't seen the casters.
This is the best part. This is the real grand final.
Is this the show match?
This is the real grand final.
Yes.
Oh, this
the
is the
actual
show
grand
match. Oh,
Which was pre-recorded, obviously. Was supposed to be shown.
No. Jack and I went to a
finals.
studio right afterward. No.
Yeah, we were locked in here, bro. And obviously, me and Avril didn't cast the finals. Yeah, there was a fucking show. I was thinking, like, Avril, what are you trying to bait him with? But yeah, I remember
wait, so there was no
You forgot,
post-show
John.
desk?
You forgot, Jack. Oh, there was. The post-show desk happened during like the walkout when they walked to
during
the
the walkout
podium and stuff, and the looting.
Oh,
we,
so
we
you
did the
talked
entire-
over that footage?
Yeah, we did the entire
Oh.
desk over the
Yeah.
footage of them like looting and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But this is the show match. You can switch it off now.
Yeah.
No, what
we can
happened
go,
during
we
the
can
show
talk about
match?
semi now. Well, you
I mean, it was just the
just
show
some
match.
stadium,
They played
season
the
18
new
stadium.
map.
Cool.
And they played season 18 stadium. It was
awesome.
pretty cool.
Wait, who played? Color
If
Hex,
you wanna-
Pineapple, Aki, Steel Kiwi, KSG, Young,
if you
Rhino,
want to
Nico?
just go to the payload race part, because that's probably the part that fans care about. We don't have to talk about it, but we can just show it that it happened. It was like it's about here. Yeah. This is it.
Payload
it's
race,
a map
everybody.
that has.
What is
it's
this,
a
Team
map that
Fortress
looks
2?
like-
Yeah,
it looks like
seriously,
Route
it is.
66. This actually does look like a TF2 map. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it does look like TF2
Looks
assets.
like fucking payload push Badlands, bro.
So you can see
It does
both the
look like
payloads.
that.
You guys see both payloads? Yeah, there it is. It does look like Badlands actually. And so yeah, that's payload race. For the people that want to watch this and just want to see payload race, they can check out the full VOD. You have to go to like OW Esports channel live and then find the grand finals day. It's hidden away. I remember real funny. I don't know how this got recommended to me in my Reddit feed. There's a thread from r/Brigida mains, and they're like, oh, Brigida perks from season 18. And it's a link to our VOD. It's a link to this like stadium
That's so
gameplay.
funny.
That they found this and like new brig perks.
Yeah, because it was a different show match, right? Where the elite Sojourn got new perks. So maybe someone misunderstood.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I
it
can
was
see
the
that.
Sojourn Mythic trailer.
Oh,
and they
that was it.
showed
Oh.
some new perks. Yeah, which was like they look quite cool actually. Well, I don't know about the disruption shot one.
Yeah, one
but
was like you
it's
slide and get 50 energy or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other one is the disruptor shot slows. So it's like old disruptor shot. Remember when that used to slow?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Right.
kind of interesting.
Anyway,
Yeah.
talk about a semi probably.
Yeah, I wanted to say on QADSIAH as well. Shit, what did I forget? I was gonna make an excuse for them. I'll make an excuse for them because they played until map 6 against Twisted Minds, which is a very long series compared to Falcons stomping T1. And we've had a few scenarios in the Overwatch Esports history where one team has played like 14 maps in a day, and then we're like, oh my god, they played 14 maps in a day,
Didn't
and
they take a huge break?
they're still dominating. Yeah, they took a huge break. So, you know, teams have played 14 maps in a row and still, you know, been on top of their game. Like nothing ever happened. Like they're just Overwatch gamers through and through. But then there are like 6 map series, which just like drains you. Like you're fatigued afterwards. And I don't know, you know, if that affected QADSIAH as well at all, that they went to map 6, that they had to defend on an overtime on Blizzard World and defend for a minute. They were about to lose the entire series. But one moment that really struck me was that when Funny Astro, when they beat Crazy Raccoons and Funny Astro joined us at the desk, he was like revved up, man. Like he was like adrenaline pumping. That dude was like in the fucking trenches, like in the battlefield. Like he'd seen some shit. Like he was so adrenaline up from that series and that win that I didn't ask him this, but I'm pretty sure that like that's the most excited, I suppose, Funny Astro might have ever been in his career. You know, they won a couple tournaments here and there with Glads, but like I've been in that situation once where like a series is over and it's so fucking tense, your adrenaline is pumping, that afterwards you go from like a ton of adrenaline and then the adrenaline fatigue hits. I don't know if that has like a proper word or something, but you can't really come back from that because so much adrenaline went through your body that if you have to tap into it again, like you don't have any more adrenaline to tap into. Like you haven't reset the adrenaline in your body yet. This probably hasn't worked. There's some fucking medicine major in the YouTube chat who can like help me out here. But it's not like
I'll ask Andrew Huberman about this one.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
give him an answer.
It's like you can't pop a Red Bull and it will fix everything and you're back to energy. because there's so much like chemistry that went through your body that like it's so hard to get back into that place. So I had that happen when we beat Envious Atlantic Showdown, and I was just like, holy shit, like I have so much adrenaline, and I couldn't get that back for the grand finals. Like it was over. Like I was just out of it for the rest of the entire day.
You can't maintain that level of high.
Yeah,
That's
so
why Rogue
I
lost.
guess I didn't ask. We actually beat them anyway because they were shit. But we So I guess I didn't ask any of the QADSIAH players, but I wonder if those 6 maps and how close that was, if that took anything out of them, like going into this series. If it was hard for them to like tap into their own game going into this one. And I know they had a longer break than Falcons, but that match seemed so fatiguing and tense, and so much was on the line that I could have seen them like being so emotionally invested that it was really hard for them to fire back up like their form for their grand finals.
Well, if
That's
it
my
wasn't
excuse for
adrenaline, if it wasn't adrenaline, it might have just been actual fatigue. Just, you know,
maybe
because like straight up, like long tournament. Also, holy fuck, you went to a map 6, which is like unheard of, and then you have to now play Falcons, and then it kind of, again, we spoke about it, but it kind of like tumbled away from you eventually, just kind of getting a snowball, and it just got out of control. So yeah, I'm curious how people were feeling, even like going into that match as well. Like, would be interesting to know.
Yeah, because obviously, like you need to play at 100%. If you're Labda and you go up against Merit in a grand final, you have to fire on all cylinders. Like you have to clutch up every fight, every other fight. You have to make plays. You have to get 2Ks, 3Ks, first bloods, and if you don't, then it'd be like Proud against Team Falcons. We're like, we look at Proud and we're just like, bro, you did nothing. And it's like, you know, like you're expected as an elite hitscan player, you almost need to pop off every single fight. It's like extremely high expectations, because if you don't, the other team will like get the advantage in so many fights, right? And so like if Labda wasn't feeling 100%, it's even harder now to beat Team Falcons in a grand final, you know? So I'm just making excuses. I don't know how they felt going into it. They felt like they played their own game. But, you know, they did get 4-0'd. Maybe they didn't show their put their best foot forward. I don't know. But, yeah. And I also want to say, you know, we spoke to Kellex after they won their semifinal against Twisted Minds. And I brought up the fact that he talked about it in 2024 World Finals, about how much he wants to win a championship, because Kellex wants to make it feel worth like all these years of investing, like whatever it is for him now. It's like, what, 8 years of him playing Overwatch competitively? That he was like, I need this to feel like it was worth it, you know? Like, I want to lift the trophy for that. Kellex, no shaming coming second to Falcons. Deep fucking tournament run. You made the grand finals. That's a huge achievement. You know, can't feel down on yourself. So maybe QADSIAH, they feel like shit, you know, these days and for the next week or so. But I hope eventually they'll realize that this was a huge fucking achievement, and they feel better about it. You know, they lost to Falcons. There's no shame in that. So
yeah, for sure.
That's my QADSIAH take. And Ziad, you're 17. Ziad's gonna be in a lot more finals, I have a feeling.
Now, Ziad,
that kid is sick. That's crazy.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
So
it kind of came out of and did you see the giant flag with him on as well?
I did not.
The Ziad flag. Really? It was, dude.
Oh, I might have. Yeah, I might have actually. Was it like, in the QADSIAH colors?
Fucking yeah. It was like it was a huge one. It was really good.
Yeah.
I did like
anyway.
The flags.
Indeed.
Let's go over some teams real quick.
Okay, I'm sorry, AVRL. I just wanted to say my QADSIAH stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, we can talk about QADSIAH.
No, I'm done.
Minds. How about?
I'm done. I'll bring up the series now for you.
This was probably the best game in the whole tournament. Thoughts? Twisted Minds, QADSIAH?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would have thrown in like
has to be the best game.
I would have thrown in like WEIBO, VP and stuff, but this one obviously has to. This obviously went to map 6. It was just
6 maps, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and this map was really close. The 5th map was extremely close too. So, yeah.
Couldn't have been closer. Literally a draw.
I mean, map 5, the sim ban coming through map 5, so clean. I mean, QADSIAH, like, you know what? We don't need the sim as much as Twisted Minds needs the sim. Let's just play a non-sim map. But then TM actually bring it back, and they have a time back advantage. And the whole time, we're sitting there watching this and be like, wait a minute, this is like unbelievably drawable. This is like the most drawable situation I've ever seen. And if Twisted Minds, in their OT, the time back attack in that 1 minute, managed to get their one tick, it would have been Twisted Minds versus Falcons in the final. And then who knows? Falcons probably still win, but TM, do they take maps? You know, it's like a big question, because this is was also an insane tournament run for Quartz. I kind of feel bad for Quartz because if he made it to the grand final, and if Twisted Minds play well against Falcons, even if losing, Quartz might have won the MVP. Genuinely.
Yeah, Quartz was fucking insane too. Both him and Labda had some extremely sick moments. We just took over games.
Yeah.
Side take, a few people at this event, like just throughout the event, they started like ranking like the most elite hitscan players we have, just like who is better between Quartz, Labda, Lip, Merit. I think I'm just out. On ranking the best hitscan players in the game, unless it's like obviously clear.
So hard.
It's so like match to match dependent and sometimes form dependent that I'm just like, dude, they're all fucking insane, bro. Like Quartz, Labda, Merit, Lip, Shy, you know, they're all fucking insane. Is Shockwave in that group? Sorry, Shockwave, I love you, bud, but I don't know if you're on that level. But the point is, I'm not gonna say that like Quartz is definitively better than Labda. I think I'm just out. I think I'm just all about enjoying. I think I'm just all about enjoyment maxing and just like they're all sick, bro. Let's just all enjoy how fucking sick they're at the game. We don't need to make comparisons. Yeah. That's my take anyway. I don't know if you agree, but
I actually kind of like that. I think you're right. Unless there's a giant gap, which in the past, to be fair, there has been with people like
last year, Lip. I'd probably be like, yeah, Lip is
100%. But like this year, it's like holy fuck. Like Quartz has insane games. Labda has insane games. Sometimes Labda's beating out Quartz. Sometimes Quartz beating out Labda. Look at the regular season, for example, especially in stage 2. Like Quartz, then it was Labda, then it was Quartz. It was like back and forth, you know. And then I would say Merit is probably the best hitscan right now, but I think it's hard to really make a top 5 and make it clear and say like this is a definitive one. To be fair, every fucking list is never definitive because everybody has micro opinions on like
next week on Plat Chat, we're ranking the best.
Yeah, right. But like, this guy's slides better. This guy's better positioning.
I guess what I'm saying too is like you can have a favorite hitscan player. Like if you're like Merit is my favorite hitscan player, that's all right, bro. Yeah, and you can be like maybe this hitscan player is more flexible than the others. Great, but if you go like, oh, Quartz has a better Sojourn than Labda, I'm like, okay, you gotta tell me why, buddy. You gotta tell me why. You can't just be like Quartz is a better Sojourn than Labda and no explanation. Right. Like it needs to have a good fucking reason why you say that, because otherwise I think there's
vibes. I'll give you a rank 1 of something. Rank 1 posture for the tournament. KSG Team VARRELL.
Wait, was that the guy leaning in? I don't have the vote of that, but yeah, that was great.
Bro is laying the fuck in, dude. It was so good. I made a joke about it. It was like sniffing the pixels or some shit.
Yeah.
In this series, Circuit Royale and New York City were the bad maps. So despite this being a 6-map series, I will say there were a couple of maps in the series that did not deliver. Circuit Royale was like kind of a really rough one. I did not expect that to be so one-sided. Obviously a pumped team in that one. There was a full hold into just like an instant cap. So I'm trying to remember like,
oh, you're right, dude. I swear I cast these games and I'm like, what the fuck happened again?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'd be like TP's up here and Checkmate is like, oh, I'm gonna take your high ground. We win the fight. It's like, okay, well.
This one was a rough map, bro. And as well, isn't this the one where they perma got picked as well? It was just like it was done, right? They just got picked and it was like, oh, okay, it's GG. Yeah, they vortex the corner here. Doesn't the Ram die or something? I don't know. I can't really remember.
Yeah, they rushed and here they are.
I don't really remember. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they just like insta rush in and then it's just like, oh, it's done.
We had double support ult. We win the game.
The only important match that Jack remembers casting is the show match because it was the best one.
That's
the most important game of the tournament.
That's so true, bro.
That's so true. Yeah, that's pretty true. I've got about like 20 minutes, by the way. I'm also fucking dying.
Wait, do you have 20 minutes?
I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Okay.
So our thoughts on any quick thoughts on?
I don't know if I'm gonna be done in 20 minutes. So if both of you leave, I'll just be sitting here by myself talking about the tournament.
No, that's fine. It's just.
I'm not ending this until I'm done.
Nah, you're good. You're good. It's just I'm also fucking dying.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like
I'm gonna die more.
I've been up since like 2:30.
Yeah, no worries.
we gotta get through this game. That we don't have to go through every single map, but just the general vibes. Of
I'm
this
going
game.
till I'm done.
You casted this, obviously.
I don't know when that is.
You cast this one, obviously. The most important map was Blizzard World, in my opinion. QADSIAH seems very Twisted Minds favored, obviously, because like we've seen them just win this map so many times.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this team like full cap this map like multiple times. I think, yeah, Blizzard World for me, was the most important out of this series, I think, despite it being a draw, obviously. Just how they got stuck on third. And then, yeah, like you mentioned as well, like the sim ban was kind of crazy. And I think when your series goes that fucking long as well, you do end up running out of bans. But like, because both teams are so sim-pilled, it's like, oh, why would we ban the sim, you know? So like, coming out with your dick swinging like that was crazy, banning sim. And then obviously everybody defaulted to May, and May's pretty good, but like there are a couple of times where Checkmate just like overextends, like, and just dies, especially on third. He'd like overextend past Mega and then just die. It was,
yeah, I thought banning sim was kind of crazy as well.
A little ridiculous.
I'm just like, it feels unnecessary, you know? Like, do you really think you're that much? I mean, you're up against UB, yeah, but like UB was like, I'm just gonna play May. Like, I'm not taking this race.
No, that's good. That's good. You want him to play May because you want him off the sim. It hurts Twisted Minds a lot.
Yeah, it hurts Twisted Minds way more. Yeah, way more. And then Atlas as well. Atlas with like, I fucking love that map with Venture. By the way, that map is so good for Venture. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think Venture is so impactful on this map. The amount of space that you have on the point where you can ult, and also the like, it's not like super high grounds, but like high grounds where you can just drill dash.
Do they?
Oh, it's so fucking good on this map. Proper, for example, had like insane game on this map. They played sim, obviously here. Why would they play anything else? But man, that hero is so good. So good.
Yeah, really fun map, actually.
Ban this map? Ironically,
no,
it was Juno
Diva, no?
No, it's Diva and Juno.
Okay, never mind. Never mind then.
I really enjoyed
I'm just
Atlas.
mentioning it as a point, but because we've never seen this map before in pro play, and this was like the first tournament.
We got a decent balance of Atlas and New Junk City. If I
really, he was mainly Atlas, no?
Yeah, I got like 2 New Junks or something.
I don't have a count of this, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Atlas did get played more.
Yeah,
but I feel like I saw enough New Junks that it didn't feel like it was.
New Junk City was played in this series, but it was a 3-0. Like they got rolled at the end.
We need to minimum watch the ending on New Junk City because the TP bomb kill into the remake onto UB was probably like the most amazing ending.
That came out of fucking nowhere.
Can we,
as well.
wait. Can we go one map at a time here? Yeah, we're bouncing on a little bit too much. One thing, because we're watching Atlas as well. We saw so much Atlas. I haven't checked the statistics or like what the trend was, but yeah, it felt like so many teams, they didn't want to go to New Junk City, obviously, and so they picked Atlas relatively early in the series before like weaving out to hybrid. Like, I was shocked at how often teams picked Atlas over like a hybrid map. They were like, yeah,
we'll rewind 10 seconds.
We'll go to Blizzard World, Eichenwalde, or Midtown as long as we get to go to Atlas first over New Junk City.
So UB kills Checkmate, and then watch the bottom left. This is the moment that Twisted Minds lost.
Oh, the question mark? Yeah.
There it is, right there.
Oh, the court.
That's tough.
Yeah.
So they're up 2-1. Team are up 2-1 on this map. They win this map, they're up 2-0 in the series. And then the question mark comes on through, and then they lose the map.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not saying that's the reason they lose the map, but like...
But it's surely because he dies to the kunai after he kills Landon.
Oh, right.
He headshots Landon. I didn't notice this either until now, actually. But he kills Landon and then dies to his kunai.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know. Maybe it is a question mark. I'm not sure, actually.
I don't know. That was a pretty nice play from UB, though. UB just skill check.
Because he like claps his hand. Look at
his ass.
Look at his cam. I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. He's happy though.
Yeah,
he doesn't look upset.
Yeah,
he doesn't look upset because he knows they won the fight, so it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
they are up 1-0 and they're up 2-1 in the map. So maybe he's like,
they're looking good. They're looking good in the series right now. They kind of are dominating at this point in time.
Yeah, looking real good.
But then they drop the next 2 rounds to Hellcat, And then they have the most disgustingly bad performance circuit.
Yeah.
They win QADSIAH, which they've been looking amazing at generally.
Amazing.
Blizzard World, we know.
Can I say one thing on Blizzard World before we go to New Rank as well? I think, dude, Twisted Minds. Wait, hold up. Let me make sure I get this right. Yeah. They play Zarya here on second point. I think, I don't want to say lucky, because saying someone was lucky is like pretty rude. But let's say fortunate. They're on this Zarya here, and they are so fucking fortunate that it worked out. Like with the one grab they got. Because it is so risky, I feel like, to pick Zarya into a QADSIAH's defense and not get punished. But they like stick around. Like, how long do they stick around here? Like, this is like minute 4, they roll out on it. So they drop a sound barrier, but there's like no real fight. No one's really dying here, I think. It's 3:21. They're kind of poking Quartz. Goes up there, like shoots someone. They've been on the Zarya for a minute here. And KSA builds the grab. Like, and they like cap off this grab. But like, you're playing Zarya. It's so risky to play Zarya. It's so volatile. That if that shit don't work out, if they don't win this fight, I think they are majorly kind of like fucked on the rest of their attack. So the fact that they got away playing the Zarya and got value from the grab is like so big for the rest of the attack, which led to them having a minute on the timer. So I don't know. It was like a very like a volatile, high risk moment in the map that could have gone either way, and Twisted Minds were kind of fortunate to get away with that, I thought. And then KSA immediately swaps back to Ram. Like, if they lose all positioning there from that minute, and he has to swap back to Ram,
you lose so much momentum.
They lose so much momentum in that second point. So I don't know. That was a small moment. Yeah. That now they have 4 minutes on third point. If they had 2 minutes instead of 4 minutes, like it'd make a major difference in how this map plays out. So
I'm still kind of shocked teams are trying it, to be honest. Like the Zarya.
Go to New Junk. Go to the final moments of New Junk. Got to watch that highlight. It's worth it.
Yeah. Oh. There was. Oh, that was the highlight.
Too far.
That was the highlight thing, actually. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, they won New Dunk City so fast that like. Okay, I'm working on it. What the fuck?
Just left click. Just
what the?
Yeah. Start from here.
Yeah, it's because they won the map so fast.
Dude, I don't know, man. TM fell apart on this map so heavily. It was like kind of surprising. Like, I think you see the frustration the TM players faces afterwards. I'm like, I get it. Like. You just did this like insane Blizzard World push where you had your sim banned out. You probably weren't favored to win the map at all because of that reason. And then you somehow get a 1 minute time back advantage to then unfortunately not be able to cap. But you know what? It's drawable. 1 minute to cap 33%. Sometimes, a lot of times, teams don't do that because you don't have enough time. So drawable. To be honest, a draw is a pretty good win there for Twisted Minds, even though they'd be disappointed they didn't take the map. Here, dude, this map's performance was just uncharacteristically bad from Twisted Minds. This was like, we just went back to Circle Royale, you know? That first fight, Ziad kills 1, 4 people have to fall off the map.
Do you think it's boomable, the way they lost Blizzard World? Do you think that's boomable? Or they drew it? Do you think that's boomable? That they're like, oh, fuck, we didn't win it, now we have to go from up 6.
It might be because they probably felt like, oh, dude, if we're in this spot, we might as well win it. Because they know they probably should win it in that spot. But at the same time, if you're being objective, like super logical looking from the outside in, getting a draw is pretty good on that map when you had your sim banned out. Like, we all expected them to lose. Everyone expected them to lose Blizzard World. The fact that they even got a draw is like kind of okay. Like, it should be okay. But
yeah, it's really hard to think like that in the moment, but you're right. It's really hard to think like that.
Watch the bomb. Here we go. It's coming up. The bomb's coming up. Eyes on Ziad. Really, this is checkmate's play more than Ziad, but it's still good. Final fight coming in. Ziad DMAX. He's behind the corner. Gets TP'd on the high ground. There it is. Checkmate TP's the bomb on the high ground. Boom, kills 2. And then Ziad's in Baby Diva form runs after Yubi and just remake kills him. Everyone's popping off. Kellex is like, yep, another day at work.
Another fight.
Wow, Landon is hype. God damn.
That was one of the funnier things about that series, actually, was Kellex just goes... And everybody's like fucking jumping around and shit. And he's like, another day in the office, boys.
Dude, look at this. Landon's crazy, bro. He's so happy. Yeah. That's awesome.
You know, I stumbled across the old video. Do you remember the We Spit Fire song?
Yeah.
Dude, and it's got Landon on there. I'm like, bro, if only you knew. If only you knew at that time where you'd be in a couple of years, man. Taking down
in the grand finals of
going
EWC.
Grand finals facing Falcons, bro. Like,
by the way, this first point was so funny because QADSIAH win that first fight, and they start building percentage, and then it's like 40%, and Landon builds this Kitsune rush, and they step up, and they're so fucking scared of this diva that they're like, we're poking for a bit, we're scared of the diva, and then they're like, let's just build the Kitsune rush ourselves. Yeah. And they stood there for like 20-30%, and then they're waiting for Simple to be like, they're not getting shot at. They're not getting shot at. Yeah, they're not getting shot at. And they're like, we can't engage because we're behind on Kitsune rush, and there's one fight.
Yeah.
QADSIAH capped the point, and then there's one fight because it takes them so long, they're scared of the diva, and then the Kitsune rush, and then they lose the point. It's like, I gotta rewatch this, but like it probably fucks with your mentality that you're up against a diva, which is so like dive bomb kind of like they TP and there's diva missiles and then they blow you the fuck up. They kind of fucks with your mental.
Is this whole map 300-0?
Yeah.
TM win a single fight. It was 300-0, right?
300-0.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It was unbelievably one-sided.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because, dude, anticlimactic like last map, you know. Like,
how long is this map?
It's not long. It's just 300-0.
Like it's 47.
We can probably speed through T1 Falcons because Avast isn't here to talk about T1 and
6:30.
Well,
yeah,
that's what Avast should have been here to talk about T1. Not much from my perspective, except for the fact that what the fuck is Dongak's hero pool this tournament? What is T1's read on the entire meta this tournament?
Why are you read on the meta Doom so much?
Jack, do you hear me on the desk? I'm like, please stop playing Malga. Please, I'm begging you to stop playing Malga. He kept forcing Malga repeatedly. Why? The Doom was bad. The Malga's worse. Bro, the Malga is so much worse. Please. He just kept playing it.
He kept playing on like Atlas and stuff. Like Flashpoint maps. I'm like, okay, theoretically this is good for this game type, but
this map, he pulls out the Doom because we were talking about this in the green room. And Jake was like, yeah, the Doom from Dongak's probably fine because he usually pulls it out as a sidearm to finish off opponents. It might be like final fight, OT. He'll swap Doom just to confuse him and pull out like a sidearm just to get the final tap. And then this round, he starts on the Doom, and I go to Jake, so what did he do this time? Did he forget to buy a rifle? He just starts the whole round on Doom? He
played ball. He played ball, but swapped it.
No, he
started on ball for one fight.
Oh, yeah, he starts on the ball and then just basically went to Doom straight away. So I'm like, yeah, bro just walked out of spawn with pistol only this round. Like, he just didn't even buy a rifle. It's so funny.
Yeah.
He just played basically a whole round of Doom. Like, it's just his read and his entire team's read on the game. It's just wrong. Proud's playing so much Freya. Here's hit scans that are tournament. Hit scans of the tournament are Sojin and Cass. Very few people are playing Freya. Proud is like perma Freya for some reason. Zest is the only player outside of supports that playing the right. Because Zest probably the best player at T1 this tournament. And Dongak did very little. Proud did very little, which is disappointing because Proud.
He's not like a disappointed father.
Bigging up. Yeah, because we're all bigging up. Everyone's bigging up. All the players are bigging up. I'm bigging him up at the broadcast. I'm like, he's the best tank. And then he just plays like fucking Doom the entire time. And I look like a silly motherfucker because I said he was the best and he's just playing Malga and Doom. Like, good one, Dongak.
Well, okay.
And then Proud.
Yeah, I was going to say something about that, but if you want to rant, go for it.
And then Proud is just like, only knows how to play Freya now? He just doesn't play any other hero? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Freya's just been kind of shitty.
Okay.
You get dunked on by fucking Cass.
In Dongak's defense here, Wrecking Ball, really fucking good on this point because you can like stall out the point somewhat. Probably think
He's
against
not playing it though.
Probably against like a Cassidy, Diva, Bap, Sim. Like there's probably so much fucking damage that like, okay, well realistically, like how much staying point are you really gonna have on the point? So it probably swaps to Doom because it's more like an explosive, volatile option, which it like kind of pairs with like a Venture, like, you know, engaging and a Freya like shooting 2 bolts in. So it's like an extremely volatile composition. What I said in the green room at the time was that like it's so fucking all in to play this comp that even if you cap the point, let's say T1 wins a fight here, how the fuck do you like strategize for like the next rounds or like the next fights coming up? They do win one fight here and they have beat, and like the only thing they can do with this comp against what Team Falcons are doing is fucking beat engage, because if you back up, you lose all your positioning, you pretty much have to engage, because like they're just gonna walk up and cap the point for free. You can't stand on the point with this comp, and so it's insanely volatile. And so Skew builds his beat, and then they beat engage, and it works out for them. So like they kind of let them in like a little bit, and when the timing is right, they have a decent good angle. They're just like, let's just fucking go for it. This is what comp does. Beat engage. Dongak doesn't even fucking get it, the beat in the first place. Cess doesn't either. But like that's how the comp plays. Like that's the only thing you can do with this composition. Pretty much here. And like they get a decent amount of percentage here, but it's volatile as hell. It's like kind of all in. It's like extremely difficult. Do you think the ball is better? It's so scary though.
I'll tell you what. No.
I don't know if I agree actually.
Playing Doom is not scary into chaos. Ball is better. Why? Because you're playing it into sim. Ball is actually a verified sim counter, not a hard counter, but one of the verified sim counters of the tournament. Beyond that, if you play Doom and you sit there blocking, you're just building up the Symmetra beam to like unreal levels. It's way easier, in my opinion, for D.Va to chase the Doom than it is for the D.Va to chase the ball. Ball doesn't die to this comp unless you just get like caught by flashbang in the wrong spot. There's no supports that really stop you here either. You're not going up against Brig. You're not going up against Ana. Doom would be bad against those anyway. Everything that Ball is bad into, Doom is worse into. Is my argument.
Yes, so, Doom is a bad hero.
I don't know.
Like,
I think it's
no one is going to give you punch, bro.
You get hacked on Doom, it's even worse. Everything that beats Ball beats Doom even harder. Is the thing.
Doom is
so there's nothing that Doom does better than Ball in this matchup, in my opinion.
I don't know. I trust in Dongak a little bit, so I'll
sure.
I'll make,
but I don't trust Rush.
If he felt like playing Doom, I'm like, okay, I'll give you a little bit of it.
His Doom is exceptional. It's very good. Look at the Shambali Monastery, but like the hero is just not
this meta. Not in this meta.
Yeah, the hero
the
is
wrong meta for the Doom.
Yeah.
Also, the way he died on Ball, I was just like, okay. Oh, no, never mind. He died on Ball twice, actually, because he rolled out here, and he died like 5 seconds into the map. Like, he just fucking runs in here, 20 seconds till the point opens.
Right?
And he got flashed, and he's dead.
Yeah,
and he dies 15 seconds, and then he's back. Yeah. And they do like
so we don't have to watch the VAR, but I'll just talk about it because we didn't. We don't have to dive into this one because I think third place match is whatever. But Twisted Minds beating T1 in third place match. I said this on desk. I predicted Twisted Minds to win because
you're like
T1
speed running. We haven't finished talking about this one.
I'm talking about both at the same time because this is just the T1 segment.
Okay, all right, the T1 experience.
I'm saying we don't have to watch the VOD. I'm just saying this is the T1 segment, and the reason why I predicted Twisted Minds to beat T1 is because T1 are playing the same style as Crazy Raccoon in this tournament, which is like essentially the anti-Symmetra. They're not playing any brawl. They're hard playing Ball, except for some reason Dongak's also playing the Doom, which is even worse. But then on top of that, Dongak's playing a bunch of Orisa instead of the Ram. He just refused to play Ram. I said this on the desk as well. This guy just refused to play Ram. The only time he played Ram is when Orisa was banned. Orisa was banned, he's like, oh shit, I guess I have to play the Ram now. They still lost, but you know, I just think at least he's playing meta. The Orisa just gets cooked in these matchups. Bad against the cast, bad against the Sim. To be fair, none of those are here, but Harbin is playing the Zarya, which, you know, Harbin's going to maximize the matchup as much as he can, which is great. That's why they lost versus Twisted, because Twisted have the actual meta in this. Twisted already beat Crazy Raccoon. Crazy Raccoon are the better team at this style than T1 are. There's no reason to believe that T1 would be better than Crazy Raccoon against Twisted Minds in this style. So that's how I knew Twisted were going to win that game. The only good showing got out of T1 was their Atlas game in Falcons, which is map 3 in this series, where Zest popped off big time on the Venture. Don't want to get that swap to the Ram here, thank God. But again, he'll start on Orisa again. It's just a huge map from Zest. It's just disgustingly good. Oh, by the way, Proud's on Sojin finally as well. Proud is not hardcore locked to Freya. That's just all they need. Just get rid of the Freya. No one's playing Freya anymore. Freya's like not doing well this tournament. Get rid of the Freya. Play Soj. Everyone's playing Soj. Get rid of the Doom. Get rid of, in this matchup, maybe you don't even need the ball. Play Tracer. You can literally play, if you're T1, mirror Falcons, play exactly the same heroes they are, and I guarantee you their matchup, like, win rate improves.
Yeah, I predicted a Falcons 3-0, and T1 did win a map here, but it kind of echoed what you said. I was just like, T1 is a really good team. They'll beat up on some of these North American EMEA teams, but they didn't really have like a signature thing going for them that I was like, oh, they're gonna beat Falcons playing this. So I just kind of like bet on Falcons individual skill, and ability to play in a major semifinal. I was just incredibly confident that Falcons would play like a really good game. And then I'm like, do I think that Cest is going to beat Proper in a Tracer duel? And then Cest played, Adventure. Doesn't matter. Do I think Merit's going to outplay Proud? These are questions you got to ask yourself. Just like, are T1 going to outplay Falcons playing this style of Overwatch? It's just like, that's very... And, and people could be like, oh, well, look at Korea, stage 2. Blah, blah, blah. Or just like, okay, but like, even the best teams in the world, like they lose matches here and there, Can you beat them when it really fucking matters on stage in a major tournament? That's where the real Overwatch resumes are built. That's when the pressure is at the highest. That's when the setup is the most uncomfortable. And so I give a lot of credit to players who are really good in that atmosphere consistently. And until you've proven that you can be fucking as sick in a major semifinal, as sick as you are during a Korea regular season, I give a lot of credit to like experience in that regard, actually. That's just my general vibe.
I think regardless, I think T1's going to look a lot better moving forward. It's just not Donghack's time right now at all as a tank player. Just doesn't feel like it. I think Proud's super good. He did pretty well, but Donghack just didn't have a good...
I made the joke that he's going to go in the Ramatra torture chamber for like the next 2 months, and he's just going to grind Ramatra.
Yeah. And then Ravage's just going to get nerfed, or they're going to get fixed him, Yeah,
they're going to fix the bug. They'll fix the bug with the armor. I can tell you T1's style and their identity this tournament. They're Crazy Raccoon, but worse because they're playing the Doom for some reason. And guess what, guys? Crazy Raccoon exited in quarters. So you want to be Crazy Raccoon, but worse, then you're going to lose. So that's my take on T1. And I like T1 as a team because I thought they did super well in the regular season, but bro, I watched the heroes they're playing this. At first, I thought they were trolling. At first, it was like, yeah, they don't respect Liquid. They don't respect Cyan Esports. Of course, he's going to bring out the Doom. Of course, he's going to play whatever the hell he wants. Donghack's just going to aura check every single NA team he comes across. But then he does it against Falcons. I'm like, okay, this guy is taking this a little too far. He needs to chill out. And it's like, stop. We don't have to keep pretending. We don't have to hide strats anymore, guys. Time to play the real meta, guys. Stop hiding strats. And then you remember Rush's coaching, and then you remember Rush might be a bit of a fraud. You're like, okay, this makes sense. So it is what it is. Speaking of Crazy Raccoon, is it time to discuss?
By the way,
upset?
Good Ilori ban by Falcons. I think that really fucked with T1 heroes are good.
Yes, T1 love playing double flex support.
Yeah, so true. I will give the T1 credit for that. Like they obviously like they were like jack of all trades, like master of none. Like because they'd pull out like Symmetra comps against some teams and like do a decent job. They would play like anti-Symmetra.
Falcons.
They would play double flex. No, T1. Because Cess played Symmetra, I think, a few maps here and there. Early on in the tournament, yeah, he did. Not in this one.
Okay.
And I don't think in the third place. I think in the quarters, he played some Sim. But like, they were like jack of all trades, master of none, I think. And like, they could play the double flex. The double flex, I think, is like one of their better looks because Vigi and Skewed is like a sick duo. And, Proud can like kind of do his thing there. But because Falcons banned Ilori, they wouldn't let them play that on circuit. And then it's like, okay, well, where are you going to win?
You know what? I think Falcons are jack of all trades, master of all trades, except for Larry because they don't play that. But
because they're fucking insane, dude. They're like one of the best teams of all time.
Falcons actually play the sim. They actually play the dive, and they even beat out QADSIAH in the sim mirror. So that's like the most ridiculous part of that.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Do you think T1 kind of like, because I think they played a little sim right at the beginning. They were just like, wow, we can't do this shit, man. Like, fuck this. Like, we're not gonna. Not our style. We just can't. We're not going to be able to keep up. It's like the mirror and lose, like it's like old school. I don't know, any fucking meta.
Look at this.
Any meta where it's a hard meta.
You hate the Maga so bad. It's actually true because Vistola played a bit of Maga too, and I was like, oh, this is so cringe, bro. Like
it is
so bad, man. Like Jesus Christ.
But like, and then Zest was mainly playing the Venture, right? And it was like, okay, this Venture stuff actually kind of works for them. And
I didn't mind teams playing Freya Venture as much, actually. Some people are like,
I don't like the Freya that much, to be honest. But like, sure.
But it's strict against sim comps. Like in this matchup, I don't like it because like I don't know if the Freya is good.
But I will say on long distance maps with a lot of height, Freya into sim is pretty good. I was talking to some coaches. Yeah, like you can just the sim never catches you on a Freya with a lot of height. The sim team never catches you because you're just like constantly in the air. You're bolting people come out of TPs. That is good.
Yeah.
But for the most part, Freya was not meta this tournament. I think Proud got he got exposed a little bit for basically like playing 95%.
It feels like the entire team was just not comfortable on the more meta comps. And
I don't think they knew what meta was. I think their read was off.
Yeah, sure. You could say their read was off completely as well. Yeah, like, and they just fell over. I don't think, man, it feels kind of weird to say, but I don't think this reflects them as much. Maybe like you go to a different meta that's not sim stuff. Like you go to a meta that's maybe Freya or like, you know, Soj, and you know, not the fucking sim and not the Ram. Like they will look a whole lot better. I think if we go to stage 3, we play on the new patch with the bug fixes, and is the Ram bug fix even coming in the new patch? Don't fucking know. But, you know, I think this team is, if they stick together, and I hope they do, that they will look way better going into the next stage.
To our one of our previous questions about NA, AVRL, what do you think would be the best meta for T1 going into the tournament? If they got their
clearly a Doom meta, maybe a Amalgam meta based on what Dongak wants to play. A Doom meta, like a hard dive meta, Ball, Winston, would be super good for
Dongak.
Meta,
this team would go crazy.
Hard dive meta with like a hard hit scan for Proud.
They have Viper on the bench, right?
They had Viper on the bench.
They do, yeah.
Wow. And then I don't know, maybe a poke meta, but then Dongak doesn't have the Sigma. Maybe a poke meta, but no Sigma, like a Rissa poke meta with double flex support.
A Rissa poke meta?
Yeah, because double flex support is like one of the T1 specialties as a team that they can do that a lot of teams like really struggle on. So maybe something like that. But like honestly, the meta in Korea that we just had wasn't too bad for them because it was a lot of Orisa. You could play a lot of other stuff. Proud hard farmed on the Freya because Freya was like doing really well at the time. Yeah, but then they kind of choked versus Crazy Raccoons. So
we had this conversation in the green room, by the way, and I swear to God, Donghack, he has like the same license to swap that Mag has. Now Donghack is like 5 times the player, but they both have this habit of just like swapping to some like hero. Because we had this conversation, and I do remember Donghack played Junker Queen. Like stage 2, like against he played Junker Queen against an Orisa team on like Servasa in stage 2 or some shit, and it's like the most like crusty crack pipe kind of swap. So he has the same license that Mag has to just swap to heroes. Like Mag will sometimes just swap to fucking Reinhardt, and you're like, what's going on?
Can I revoke all those licenses? Whoever has that license, I'm coming around to revoke them all.
You wanna okay?
Who is it? Who else is it? Is it Hitori? Hitori? Is it no?
Yeah, Hitori plays a ton of tanks.
Was it Crocs last year who played the Roadhog or something?
These mystery hero tanks need to stop.
Yeah.
These mystery hero tanks need to check themselves in. All right, hand yourself in. Hand yourself in to me. You're on the run. You're a fugitive. I will catch you.
Yeah. Some tanks are just a little bit too eager to get back to the point quickly with Doom, you know? Like they're just peep this rollout. I'm going to
peep this. Yeah, that's it. Peep the rollout.
I'm going to Doom. Right. But yeah, like I think this is another thing with T1. It's just like, hey, you got 4th in a major tournament. That's fucking sick. Good for you. Got some experience on your belt.
Even with this read as well is like kind of crazy.
In a meta that doesn't favor. In read, did you mean meta, Joss?
Yeah, meta.
Yeah.
Well, read of the meta.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
No, yeah, because I agree with you.
Same kind of vibes.
Yeah. I thought I had one more take, but I forget it. Yeah, Donghack got the crack pipe a little bit, but I still love it.
I hope they fucking stay together.
Yeah.
I assume they will. I can't imagine they'd split because their team is still good. So.
Yeah. Where are we going next? Okay, that was all the top 4 teams, right?
Yeah.
That's the semis covered. We cover the whole semis, and then
I cover your face, by the way.
We can just that's fine. We can just pick and choose like different teams that we haven't talked about from the quarters. Probably Crazy Raccoons are a very important one.
I'm probably going to go in a bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
you do that.
Yeah. Can we talk about VARRELL before I go?
Okay. Wait.
Because I've been high on that team.
Yeah, that's day 1. I'm pulling up the thing. You can start talking, bud. You can start yapping.
Yeah, look. They're coming up. That's one.
The next up, baby.
Then next up, international competition.
I'll give you this matchup.
You win against put against Rock, please. Jesus Christ. Because
This is a Crazy Raccoon one.
yeah, the Crazy Raccoon one is not. I mean, come on, man, you're gonna lose against Crazy Raccoon.
They're okay, but like not.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get shit on. Like that's fine. But yeah, look, they won on an international stage. They won a single game, and you know what? That's okay. That's very okay. I'm happy that it went to 5, and I'm happy that VARRELL and the Japanese like Overwatch scene is getting better slowly. It's going to take a year, maybe 2, probably 2, but it's all good. Rock, there are some good players on Rock, so you can't really blame him. I just know how much it meant to them as well. Like, you saw them after their win. They were fucking going ape shit on stage.
Jinmu Kiriko? Jump scare?
Jinmu Kiriko. Oh, yeah, this fucking thing. Yeah, I remember now. What the fuck was this?
This was so
I guess
stupid.
Jinmu is a better Kiriko than Chamomile?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
There is no fucking shot that's true. How is Jinmu locking in on a server and playing a fucking Kiriko? How?
This reminded me of when Seoul Dynasty put Profit on Kiriko in the 2022 playoffs.
Oh my god!
They're like, we're gonna take our star player, our best player, and put him on Kiriko.
Didn't he play Brig? Didn't Profit play Brig?
Oh, I did that at some point too. Yeah. Oh my god, there's actually like, you know, Hex used to make those like POV VODs where you like talk over gameplay or something. I think there is one of those with Profit playing Brig somewhere.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolute. What the fuck, crack pipe?
So
where is the crusty crack pipe, and why is it in China?
I talked to this team, and they hard bench Jinmu, which makes sense. Like whatever, Taejong, probably best player on this team. Not gonna lie, Taejong's POV was. There were so many moments where Rock was just losing, and Taejong was just bailing them out. He is like the Jaewoo of Rock. You know, he's the Chinese Jaewoo.
The Jaewoo. The Chinese Jaewoo. Wow.
He is. He's like the guy that's like, wow, this what like Korean Tracer guy is unbelievable.
He's also young, like he's 18 too, right? Or something?
Yeah, he's like super new, that's super crazy. Young, super like new to the scene. Hasn't played for that many good teams before. We're supposed to be talking about VARRELL. We're talking about Rock now for some reason, but that's fine. VARRELL, like they did pretty good. I said this on broadcast, like it's very important for VARRELL to like show that they can win games on the international stage because this is their first international ever. First time Japan's been an international, not called the Overwatch World Cup. And so for them to be able to be competitive at an international is going to invigorate honestly,
like
the Japanese scene.
Beating one team, like you're going to lose against Crazy Raccoon. Everybody knows this. But like beating one team, I think that's good. I think genuinely having a showing like that is fantastic. Their double flex is good too. Cloud is good. Cloud is good on the back. Like clearly wants to perma-lock that character, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, I messaged one of the Japanese casters like, hey, like, what do you think? You know, do you think they can win or whatever? Obviously, they were like, yeah, you know, we think they can win, and they were just happy that we've got imports as well now, which are really helping the scene out too. Because VARRELL are dominant in their region, in Japan.
Undefeated.
I mean, they beat Reject. Yeah, they're undefeated. They beat Reject, who has Edison on it in Kalios. And I'm like, damn, you're getting like, okay, fair enough. I mean, Top Dragon is a fucking beast. I take Top Dragon over Steady Eddie, obviously, at this point. And coming out with wins, it is really good. It's really good for the scene.
Top Dragon is the Jaewoo of Japan.
Top Dragon might be the Jaewoo of Japan. Yeah.
Yep. It's the Jaewoo of Japan versus the Jaewoo of China in this match right now.
Another thing Top Dragon and Taejong have in common is I think it's really funny that they've played in like a shit ton of regions and they're both like 18 years old.
Yeah, because they played in
Taejong,
NA.
Yeah, Taejong's playing in NA, EMEA, Korea, and China. And Top Dragon's played in Korea, EMEA, Japan.
Japan. Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Which is kind of nuts, actually.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nuts.
It's really fun.
Now, I haven't really got much else to say on VARRELL. I mean, like, obviously they lost. They went to map 5 versus Rock, but Rock have really good players. And yeah, it's just good for the scene. I know Teo was co-streaming the games as well.
Did he get good viewership?
And they were, Teo gets insane viewership. There was some Teo signs in the audience too. Wow. Teo. I always call him Teo. Sorry.
Another thing about VARRELL is like, they did it the right way as well. They went into this tournament. They knew they were probably gonna fucking lose. They had no chance of escaping groups, but they came into it and they played a shit ton of double flex. They're like, the only way we're gonna win any of these matches is if we just fucking permalock double flex support, and we make it our thing. And
they're
look,
like
sometimes
more meta than T1, bro. This team is more meta than T1.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you have a thing that you can repeatedly rely on to beat the other team with, and you can go to maps and you have hero bands to like supplement it. If you do, you give yourself like at least one map, couple maps in a series, and holy shit, you just need to win a third. It's like you give yourself a chance in every single series if you are consistently really good at one comp. And look, sometimes you're VARRELL and you're double flex and you surpass expectations, and sometimes you're Christopher and the ultimates and dive is dog shit, which is what your entire team was built around. Unlucky for you. So comes and goes. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes unlucky. But if the meta kind of favors what your team is built around, and you can rely on that heavily, you know, like even Liquid to an extent, it's just like I'm not talking about any of their matches specifically because I think a lot of theirs took place on the B stream. I could be wrong. That's actually I lied. Actually, we actually think we had a group B on the A stream, but like the fact that they have, you know, Vega and they can play RuPaul Vega some double flex support.
Yeah,
that's a great thing.
Double
like
flex
VP
is so important.
Yeah, this is like the biggest thing about VP. It's just like, yeah, a couple of tournaments they disappoint and they're dog shit because they revolved so much around Vestola in the past. But it's undeniable that sometimes the fact that you had Vestola and you were so sick at Sigma composition in the past was like a huge boon. And like, look at Team Finland in the Overwatch World Cup. They were fucking sick at poke comps, which meant they could like take down some real top teams. And so you kind of like need like a win condition in these tournaments. And I think a couple of teams, they surpassed expectations because they locked in on one composition that was like their ace, you know.
Let's also be realistic though. Like, it's a nice pocket to have come in, but Lucio was still the support of the tournament. Every team had to play Lucio. Every team that was good in this tournament played Lucio.
Right.
You still had to like. It's not. This wasn't the tournament of double flex supports. Although having it as a pocket strat is good. You needed to play Lucio this tournament.
It's not as egregious as not being able to play like fucking Tracer or Sim or shit like that.
I'm obviously not saying that they could have won the tournament playing double flex, but I'm saying that like you give yourself map wins by having
I agree.
A really strong comp like that. Instead of being a generalist and you're like, we're gonna give ourselves a chance on all 5 maps. It's like, if we can lock down Circuit Real, sick shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, we haven't talked about GEEKAY yet, but I think they're one of those teams that like they got a couple of maps against Falcons because they made the most out of the bans and map choices, and they knew how to get those wins on those maps.
I think one last thing on VARRELL. I think with the imports that they do have, Top Dragon, Slay, I think they genuinely are the perfect imports. Like, they couldn't have picked up better slots on their team. I'm not saying like players, but like slots. I think Slay and Top Dragon especially is obviously very good. But having the ability to run double flex like they have done, and having a like world star Tracer player like that, I think is incredibly important. So like they're building if they're going to build a foundation around like having 2 import slots taken over those spots, I think that's perfect. I think what they have in Japan right now, especially when it comes to tanks and like Nico is good. Like tanks, Cloud, KSG Cloud, Nico, I think is perfectly fine. I hope this team just continues. I mean, maybe, like you said, like maybe you do need this like perma Lucio player, but like I think you can run double flex and get away with it. I really, really think that.
So it's gimmicky. I'll say it's a little gimmicky, but it worked.
Sure.
So good.
It does work.
VARRELL. You want a match? Good for you. We're all happy for the Japanese region.
Hell yeah.
Are you gonna head out, Jaws? Are you throwing in the towel?
No, I'll stick around for a little bit.
Okay.
10 more minutes.
Okay.
Right.
I'm very tired.
It's time to no, we have to talk about the biggest Japanese team, Crazy Raccoon. Why are we ignoring this? We're gonna go to Crazy Raccoon.
Okay,
Crazy Raccoon. Yeah.
They are the Japanese team. My favorite Japanese representative, Crazy Raccoon.
Okay, well,
break it down for me.
He's trolling, but
what do you got to say, AVRL?
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
Johnny, break it down for me.
What bro said? He wants to speak up Crazy Raccoon, and this is nothing.
They lost. One of the tournament favorites lost.
Yeah,
they lost in probably the biggest upset that I have seen of all time because Nightmare beating Crazy Raccoon was one thing, but Crazy Raccoon didn't get eliminated. Crazy Raccoon got eliminated by TM. That's a whole nother thing entirely. As defending EWC champion as well, they just won Hangzhou. I mean, damn, dude, this is a crazy win for TM. Like, I remember Jake was saying like there was a chance TM could win this game, but he was only like maybe 40% confident.
Yeah.
He went for the TM vibe prediction and he got it right. Like by the numbers, even Jake said by the numbers, Crazy Raccoon probably still win. We all, the rest of us, predicted Crazy Raccoon because they're Crazy Raccoon, and I'm not gonna not pred them until they actually like lose. But clearly they weren't prepared to play the sim either, so they were gonna counter it. That's fine. Jimin played a bunch of Winston this tournament, which I did not expect. He did actually win a couple maps and a reasonable number of maps on the Winston, so whatever. He did play on a number of Ball as well. Ball was banned on this opening map, but which is smart by Twisted Minds. Ball is probably a very important character that, I mean, Ball and Farah is definitely a sim counter as well. There's also the Venture in there. That's why he's saying starts in the Farah here. You'll notice that this is also, like, except for the Winston, kind of similar to what TM played against Falcons. It's just that there's a reason why Crazy Raccoon are playing this is because the Farah is actually good into the Diva. KSA swaps, good into the sim rather. KSA swaps to the Diva to shut down the Farah. I can't remember. CR still end up winning this map, but Twisted Minds, you can tell they have the right idea here in terms of how they need to play the Crazy Raccoon. I just think this is the game that proved that the sim meta and playing Brawl is ultimately what you need to do to win the tournament, and playing anti-sim isn't good enough to win the tournament.
I don't think right now there is an anti-sim, though, is the thing.
Yeah, there are soft counters. That's about it.
There
you can give yourself a chance
like,
on some comps, but...
Yeah, but like an anti-sim, because that was the kind of thing we were talking about, was like, oh, what is like the anti-sim? Is it the Venture and is it the like the Ball and stuff? It's like against good teams, it's just kind of not, because you're just quicker. You're just way faster on rotations and like way better when it comes to like surviving dives. And like if you can just, it's just such a high skill ceiling, like not just the character alone, but like it's like an insane high skill ceiling as a team together when you can just fucking boom, TP away instantly and just destroy any kind of hope for a dive or anything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The anti-sim is proper on Tracer. There it is.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, sure.
That's the anti-sim.
Proper on Tracer.
Even though there is one moment here on Lijiang Tower, which Crazy can win this map, right? They win this control center, I think. There is one moment here. Yeah. I just want to talk through. This is like a 2-minute sequence or something like that. But I want to see if I can find this moment here. Oh, they actually just closed it out there. So it's earlier. Sorry. So I'm taking some time getting to this moment. But this kind of goes to my point earlier, that you can have a compositional advantage, but you still have to beat a team like Crazy Raccoon on this comp. Like, look at this, okay? So it's 10%. Heesang is taking this flank, and they're playing this like Winston Sojourn Farah bullshit.
Yeah.
Twisted Minds goes for an engage. Chorong under a lot of pressure. I am buffering on my stream. For fuck's sake. Oh my god. But, it's literally the vault. Okay. No one has died. 15%, no one has died. Junbin, 1. Shu, I think caught on the low ground here. Crazy Raccoon are split now. Lip and Chorong are one direction. Twisted Minds push it. They peel away. Junbin on Heesang is on the other. Junbin is still alive. Heesang takes the off angle outside. Shu is 1 health. Gets the TP exactly with 1 health. They're all 5 alive. They're all 5 alive. They're staying alive on this fucking composition for 30%. Junbin gets a kill onto KSA when KSA has a dive bomb. Sound Barrier comes out from Funny Astro. And they still have the point cap. Heesang is 60%. Crazy Raccoon finally gets the point cap. Chorong kills UB. Lip dies. And now they kind of like trade out here. It's like 62, 52. And like Crazy Raccoon got the cap back. The fact that not a single fucking member of Crazy Raccoon died, those 30-40%, is absurd. Me and Jake, we were having a fucking religious experience in the green room because we just couldn't fucking believe like how insanely well played that was by Crazy Raccoon. And you might say like, oh, Twisted Minds, they got point cap, they built so much percentage, like whatever. The amount of skill required to pull that shit off and win that fight was absolutely fucking absurd. Like the fact they got away so many times, the way they split, re-engaged, committed on the back of Twisted Minds, regrouped, split again. Like it's just out of this fucking world that they managed to do this. Here's the final moments as well. I think this is Junbin. He gets poked down here. He has 17 health, and he pops the Primal Rage. It's like it comes down to the final, like very very small moments. But the amount of skill by Crazy Raccoon to actually win this round is absolutely fucking absurd. And so you have to do that throughout the whole best of 5, a whole best of series. And that's why it's difficult to beat these Korean teams. Like, they will fucking bring it. Even though they're on a shitty comp, you know, they fucking win the map because they're absolutely insane at the game. That's a crazy sequence. That's one of the craziest sequences I've seen. The fact that they're all able to stay alive and win that fight somehow on the composition they have against Twisted Minds. Like, that's absurd. So, anyway, that's me ranting. It's hard to beat Crazy Raccoon. So the fact they did it, I guess, is even cooler.
But then they get full held on Circuit Royale.
Well,
Crazy Raccoon do not cap at all.
Give and take. Not their map. Not their map.
Okay, you can just blame Max. You can be like, you know what? The Max sub in, it ain't it. Oh, the funniest thing happens after this map as well. So is the Tomathan posted GIF. Moon walks up to Max, taps on the shoulder, and just does this. Just tells him to get off.
So
it's like,
good,
you're out, bro. You are out, bro. Like
legendary.
Just that quick is so good.
Yeah.
Sigma did start to see some play. Vasola obviously brought the Sigma as well on this map. But this map is largely still all about the Ram, sometimes about the Diva. I feel like Sigma still just gets walked over. Sigma in particular is very, very weak to Symmetra. So, it's a bit of a problem. Trying to remember. No, Sim is not banned, so Yubi's on Sim here. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough for Crazy Raccoon. So they're not going to win this map in that sort of situation. Maybe if Max just plays the Ram instead. But I guess Heesang's just going to play Mei here. Proper plays Mei here too. That's not an issue. Lip plays Freya here. Freya makes sense because it's super long range. You can outrange Tweet TM by like a ton this map. And then this happens. Oh yeah, Max goes Zarya. And I think he loses. Usually the Max Zarya would counter the Diva so hard here. I've seen the same matchup. Crazy Raccoon versus Zeta Division. Bernard's on Diva. Max counterswaps Zarya and then he just rolls over Bernard. But here, KXA wins. Twisted Minds win. They TP KXA to the backline. He just shreds Crazy Raccoon backline. And then TM just hold. It's incredible that they beat the Max Zarya because most teams would fail.
This, if I remember rightly too, this was a lot of early picks. Like they were just getting picked by Quartz, right? Like he was just not hard swinging, but it was just like people were just getting one tapped.
You might be right. I can't recall.
Because he just couldn't get space.
When the Zarya loses, it looks fucking bad. But
it looks
sometimes
dreadful.
it
feels, bro, it feels so bad for Max, man. That guy comes in, he loses like 80% of his games.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. That's been his entire career pretty much, which is kind of sick. The past 2 years. And he's still on a winning team.
The team's still really good, but it's just
he did do well in the Korea finals, beating T1.
Right.
Yeah. But like this tournament, no, Max was not at this tournament, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think Crazy Raccoon's entire like meta read alongside T1 were not good, and then
good, to be fair.
Also Twisted Minds. Quartz played a life game here. We gave Quartz the daily MVP after this win, after this map, after the series. Rather.
MVP.
Yeah, we had a Sony daily MVP.
Yeah. Don't blame me. It's just so sad, man. Because every time I feel like that's going to be the narrative for this guy for the longest. Well, that's just going to be it now. It's just going to be he comes in and they lose the map because it happens on the international stage a lot. Where he comes in, loses the map, and then they go to next, and they sub jump in, and they win.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shitty job. You're just like
shitty job being an off tank, bro. When you come in for your one map and you lose, it's a shitty job.
Yeah, when the team obviously doesn't excel in this style of play, and they're kind of like, "Oh, it's the best chance we got. Good luck."
Yeah. Good luck, guys. Anyway, Jumpin's coming to the next map. We're gonna win the series, so it's chill.
I think it speaks volumes though, the fact that they keep this guy around.
Series, but...
You know, like they obviously like still believe in this guy. They sub him in for like big series and like.
I mean, how long have him and Jumpin been together, man?
Well,
since Shock 2020,
like 4 years now. I want to say at least 4 years.
Yeah. 2022 Shock and then O2 Blast 2021. Then
yep, at least 4.
Yeah.
Side note: I don't know if it was this series. Let me see. I think it might have been the first fight. Let me see if I can find the first fight. Just a moment. Get me into the game. Yeah. QADSIAH rolls out on Reinhardt. Guys, after seeing QADSIAH on Reinhardt and Hanbin on Reinhardt during Champions Clash, I think I'm just fucking out on teams who are like, Reinhardt is a good pick here, but they don't know how to play the hero. Like,
yeah.
It's another one of like theoretically, I'm all for the idea. It works. Like if you're fucking infected rolling out on Ryan or like insert like it is Cloudy or like any fucking Reinhardt main, it's like they know how to play this matchup and they're going to like win it and like make the most out of it. If you're not him on Ryan,
you lose.
Yeah.
You will lose.
Yeah.
Your shit, you will stand there. What do you get? Like 20% ult charge? And then it's like,
if you're not an expert,
I gotta switch.
Yeah, if you're
I gotta get out of here.
If you're not an expert when it comes to shield management and like positioning and ability management, and it's not even because of the player, but like the hero is so dog shit that you need to like play it 100% right. Otherwise, it just won't work.
The thing is too, like you have to play 100% correct, and then like even then you're gonna be like, oh, shield dead, oh, I'm in the middle of the open, oh, armor's gone, I'm just gonna fall over. Like everything has to go right. Like I feel like people also have to make mistakes to lose against this shit. Like the hero is just are they ever gonna buff this fucking character?
I have the perfect buff. Here you go. This is how you buff Ryan.
Go on.
Perfect Ryan buff is he has a unique passive only for Ryan and no other hero. When he takes damage, he gains ult charge.
That is crazy, but it might be what he needs because he fucking sucks.
Just gets a ton of shatters, and you just like can't track his shatters anymore because he gets way too many shatters.
His shield, his shield taking damage? Or
no, HP damage. Like
him taking damage.
Like the character.
He needs a smashing stadium perk, but make it like what the more health he loses, the more.
What's the smashing stadium perk?
Oh, it's like you gain life steal and move speed. Depending on how many consecutive swings you get in. But instead of consecutive swings, it's like it's like a berserking thing from like WoW or something. Like the less life you have, the more move speed and swing speed you get or something.
That's a classic MMO thing.
Yeah. So like you can, if you're like chasing someone and taking damage, then you actually gain move speed and life steal and maybe like there it can work. But I don't know.
On that note,
that would make it OP and gold, and then they'd fuck me up. And I'm
gonna have to go though. So I appreciate
he's gonna go feed his fish.
Sorry.
You're not gonna talk about GK? Damn. GK are sad. Not the tournament for Chris Raccoon. He's out. It looks bugged. I don't know how to fix this. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't remember.
Wait, I have a 2-box.
Too much what happened on Atlas, but I remember QADSIAH was a near full cap from Twisted Minds.
Okay, AVRL.
That was like, hello.
Do you mind if I try to fix this? Will you give me 1 second? I have a 2-box here, but it might show me and Jaws, so I might have to replace your URL, which means we can't hear you. Okay, 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, it's just the two of us. Woo! It worked. Holy shit. Wait, do I have a desktop capture here? Okay, I gotta watch out so I don't leak this URL.
Imagine if you did a 3-box, but one of the boxes was gameplay footage.
Okay, let me see if this desktop capture works. Please work.
But I don't want to force it.
Oh!
Wow.
Wow, I had all this set up in like January, and this is the first time I'm using it.
Look at this.
It's a little scuffed, but hey, man.
This guy, I don't know, it looks good to me. This doesn't look scuffed. This actually looks kind of poggers.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, say what you're gonna say.
I don't remember much of Atlas, but I do remember QADSIAH was a bit of a stomp. TM nearly full cap to CR. I mean, at that point, it's like you could just see the vibes were on TM's. Like you could see the entire like momentum was shifting for TM's favor. And by the time we got to Blizz World, I was in full belief mode that TM were going to win the series, and then they did.
Oh, that's us. Look at us. Blizzard World.
Let's just watch us for the next minute.
There we go.
It's us watching us.
Okay. All right, here we go. What were we gonna say about Blizzard World? You were a believer?
By the time we got to Blizz World, after seeing what happened on QADSIAH, I knew Twisted were gonna win. I felt it. And then you have the start where Heesang just starts with Somber. To be fair, Heesang got a really nice kill onto Funny Astro. Funny Astro flies off the side of the map. He gets hacked and then just drops in the water. I thought that was pretty good. The Tracer ban is really nice as well because I think fun, because you know, this would be a situation where like Crazy Raccoon, T1, Falcons would definitely play Tracer here. Although he's saying probably could he play Venture here? Possibly. Still chooses to play Sombra for some reason. I think the more I see the Winston, the more I'm like, I think Crazy Raccoon overcooked this one too hard. I think that Winston was Jimbin's Doom, right? Dongak was like, I'm gonna play Doom. Jimbin's like, I'm gonna play Winston, and both of them are wrong, unfortunately.
I mean, I've kind of been there though. When you're like, you're in a tournament and you're like, fuck, we can't play the meta. Like, what the fuck do we do? And you play some like all-in bullshit, and you kind of like try to make it work. Because like what do they do? You know, like what do they do? Like, yeah, maybe, you know, you could make the case like, is Sombra the right choice? But like, what realistically, what tank pick would give CR the best chance to win?
I figured it out. This is what you do. You pick Winston, and you pick the perk that allows you to kill deployables faster. And that way, you can kill the Sim TP and the Sim turret so fast. Oh, I'm a genius.
Oh my god.
Is that what Jimbin did?
It's OPR. They don't have the buff. It's OPR. They don't have the deployables buff from last patch.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Look, there's a pylon. Simples on Alara. You can kill the pylon and the TP and the Sim turret so fast. I've actually figured out the real counter. Wow, Jimbin's so smart. I figured out the counter.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks. It's just, I mean, it's like Li Jiang, you know? Like where I showed you, like, oh my god, I can't believe they did it. It's just like, they're so fucking good at Overwatch that there's always a chance, but it's so hard, man. You have to play perfect, and like, no one is that perfect.
And again, Quartz had a life game. I mean, he had a live tournament, but then he had a live game specifically on this series.
Yeah.
It really was the best of Quartz you've ever seen in the series. I mean, he is just every single fight, multi-fragging, unbelievably hard. Also, the Lucio ban, I think it like kind of fries Funny Astro, but it screws Chorong as well. I feel that Lucio ban impacts Crazy Raccoon more because Chorong is such a clutch carry Lucio player, more so than Funny Astro, that putting them both onto Juno is like a great equalizer. You know? Now, like, the carry potential Chorong's just been wiped out because you banned his Lucio. You did it to yourself. I'm not a Sombra believer in general. I think the Sombra here was mostly to off-angle the pylon and to, like, pressure Funny Astro because it's a really easy kill for Sombra. Other than that, like, the Sombra to me doesn't add a lot in this composition at all. I was a little confused by this one. I don't think he's saying made the right choices here. Tracer's banned, obviously. My question is Venture viable or not? If Venture is viable, he should have been on Venture.
Who had first ban this map? Who lost map 4?
Crazy Raccoon lost, so they had first ban.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It is difficult. Oh well. Peace on
Go to the winning moment. Go to the winning moment.
Oh, right.
And then
sorry, Siri is like laying on my arm, my mouse arm, so it's very hard to like. Yeah, she's being a brat.
I want to get Siri's opinions on this.
Oh, is this when they won? Key crushing. Oh, poggers. Here they go.
Around here. It's like.
Oh wait, it's 1 minute. Oh wait, yeah, they're capping. Never mind. So it's a little bit up. Live producing podcast. Look at us.
You know it's cooked when Jimbin's still on ball in Blizzard World C. It's like, this is not a good ball area, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Crazy Raccoon's another one of those teams where they're just like, they didn't prep the RAM at all. I think Max is their RAM player, and clearly like Max's win rate is not good enough in this tournament at all. Jimbin dies, is completely over. And then Crazy Raccoon lose. And then you see the pop-off. The Twisted Minds pop-off is one of the best pop-offs I've seen
for teams winning. Yeah.
Because they knew what they did. This is like this. They look like they just won the grand finals, and in a way, they kind of did, because to beat Crazy Raccoon requires a grand finals level performance typically. You know, which when Nightmare did it, the same thing. Zero played a life game, one of the best Nightmare games ever, and that was when Crazy Raccoon were playing like stupid things like Shoe Break. Shoe played all of his best heroes, but they still end up getting wiped. we're not gonna, we don't have to watch it because we're not gonna have the audio either. But like the Fancy UB interview after this was like just so passionate because, again, it was like an Arabic interview for a full Arabic crowd, and they were just loving it because it was just a giant upset.
Yeah, I can put it on the stream, but you won't hear it. We don't have to though. But yeah, I mean that was one of the cool things of being there. It was just like the fans were so loud, and sometimes I don't know how much it came through the mics and stuff, but they were like, I would say Saudi fans are like top 3 fans with French fans and Australian fans.
Yeah.
Because
they get into it. You
still
do have to have a Saudi org or Saudi players for them to get into it.
Yeah.
When they get into it, they get into it.
Right, sure. I mean, French fans want the French team, you know. But I still have memories of the crowd in Sydney for the World Cup there, and that was fucking awesome too. Like they were awesome crowd, awesome crowd. I remember we played Australia and we got like giga booed and like I mocked the crowd, but then when we qualified, yeah, I did do the kaffa. Yeah, me and for the youngins out there, me and Kaffa, we had a similar stage presence where I would get quite rowdy. But then we qualified in Australia and I like thanked the crowd and everything, and they like clapped and cheered and everything, and it was like just really cool. Like you had like a moment with the crowd. So I remember the Australian fans very well. They were awesome to me. And the French always show up for all the World Cup qualifiers and stuff we've done over there. So they're awesome. So yeah, I'd say Saudi fans, top 3 fans. I don't know what other crowd, you know, like when I think of Dallas fans, I always think of them booing Valiant first. I don't think of them cheering anything. I think of them booing. But I don't know what, maybe I'm forgetting some crowds here. But yeah, it was also a moment. I had something else I wanted to say. I forgot about.
Anything else on Crazy Raccoon?
No, I don't think so. I mean, oh, did you see the tweet from Moon that he was like, we were so unprepared that I feel ashamed that like I'll step down if this happens again.
That's a pretty extreme response, but I also respect it from Moon. But it's a pretty wild response to be honest with you.
I would say kind of like overall, the amount of players and coaches on social media this event who were like, this was my fault, we lost because of me. Like that was all-time high amount of like tweets that just like people blaming themselves, which to some degree is like, oh good, like they took it personally and like now they'll study and like work on that. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, chill out, buddy.
It might actually be a bit of Moon's fault though, because like I said, Crazy Raccoon's read on the meta, like T1, was not good. Maybe they knew what the meta was and they just realized they couldn't play it, which is a read in and of itself. But could they, every time I look at this, it's like, can they not just play what Falcons did and just play like mostly the meta but without the sim and just play Tracer instead? Is what I would have thought. But maybe it's just me like simplifying it too much. Because it seemed like Falcons, for the most part, also didn't play sim. They did play some sim, but they played mostly Tracer. So
when they rocked up against the VARRELL comp, or when they played like their signature ball Farah thing on Lijiang, I was like, oh, they're playing comfort, they're just coasting through VARRELL. But then it kind of ended up just being that they played their signature comp this meta, which is like, whoa, like you're not gonna make any adaptations, like you're just happy playing this Farah wrecking ball stuff, like that's your thing. It's like, okay, all right, you just do your thing. So I actually think maybe in retrospect they felt unprepared for sure.
We do maybe GK next and the save Virtus Pro for a combined discussion with WEIBO, and then
yeah, sounds good. And then we can kind of go for groups in there. Yeah, I don't think there's much to talk about groups. I was quite passionate about this GK series. If anyone in YouTube chat knows, for starters, because we'll discuss this, does anyone know if anyone from GK has talked about why they picked Blizzard World as their 5th map? Because we were not
Goldtech about it, and he was kind of 50-50 on it, but he didn't give me any specific reasons. I don't think he's on a leak strats to me or anything like that. But it's like I asked him a little bit about it, and he's like, yeah, maybe we could have played Midtown Ram, but like he wasn't like completely sold. He wasn't like, oh man, we fucked up, we should have done this. It was like they weighed up the options, I think they take player preferences. I still think player preference is definitely weighing in there as well. I think a lot of this is also Cuffy just really wants to play the Hazard because it's his best hero.
Yeah, you and me talked about this extensively, yeah.
To be honest, like, I thought the Hazard was still pretty good this tournament. Certainly a better pick than Doom and Winston.
Yeah, that's true, actually, yeah.
If Dong played Hazard, I wouldn't have blamed him that much, but dude just played a bunch of Doom. It's like, okay, dude. GK, my favorite thing about this team is they are so good at playing their own style, and they played like the anti-meta as well. My Mo actually even brought out the Sim a couple times, so like he played a bunch of stuff. But my Mo Venture was also really good this tournament. Lethal, mostly pretty decent, although watching the Falcons game, Lethal got cleaned up by Proper a lot. Like a lot. To be Proper was like going for Lethal all the time. What else? Yeah.
I mean, this was what we talked about behind the scenes, but I was like, the only way GK wins this series is if they win maps where Proper doesn't play Tracer, because Proper Tracer will just absolutely demolish them. Yeah,
they won this map because the Tracer was banned, and then they won Circuit because Proper was on main.
Right, which is, again, if you're going into the series and you go like, what is GK's win condition in this series? Like, how do they win this series? It's like they have to win the map where they use the Tracer ban. They have to win Circuit because it's not a Tracer map. And then you want to win one more. And I think Midtown was like a good map for them where they could have beat Falcons on. And, you know, they brought out some, like, you know, weird comps. Like, I'm not exactly sure if they played Life Weaver BAP specifically on that map.
On Circuit, they did.
Oh, Circuit, yeah, but I meant on Midtown. Because I do recall some teams have played Life Weaver BAP there. It doesn't matter if they play Life Weaver BAP there. But I think Midtown was another map where you could have made life difficult for Falcons. Whereas my thinking was, Blizzard World, you're going to make life easy for Falcons. Like, they will find a way to play their game and be very comfortable there. Unlike Lijiang without Tracer, unlike Circuit Real. And so I was just kind of like, when they picked Blizzard World, and then there was a BAP ban in there, I think. No, there was a Kiriko ban in there, I think. And then they ended up playing like Ram, Sojourn Tracer, Lucio BAP. I was just like, dude, all of the Falcons players are literally playing the comfort heroes right now. Like, they're all on signature heroes. And this is the way you're going to beat Falcons. I just thought that was like a very, I don't want to say unwinnable, but like, you don't have the greatest chance of beating Falcons on comfort.
Maybe the case, and maybe the case that they were screwed no matter what. I don't.
Right, exactly. Like, yeah, we never know.
Proper goes Tracer on any of those maps, and they still just lose.
Yeah, maybe for sure, absolutely, 100%. I'm not saying Midtown is a must-win, but my moment, like, not knowing. And again, I said this in our post game when you and me were doing this post game as well. I said that, like, I'm just a washed analyst, you know, with no insight. They have scrim results. They have, you know, hours of conversations about this, and then they talked about it before picking map 5, and they thought the best choice was Blizzard World. So in no way am I saying they did the wrong choice, because I don't have all the data and all the discussions and all the comfort and all of that. And, you know, they obviously made the choice that was best for them based on all the things they know. But to me, looking from the outside in, I was just like, whoa, they didn't pick Midtown. And then afterwards, it did seem like a few other people agreed. Like, why didn't you go to Midtown? So we'll never know. Maybe they just would have straight up lost on Midtown too. But that was my instant reaction to seeing them picking Blizzard World. I was like, I don't know if it's the right choice.
Do a quick run through Circle Royale.
Yeah.
Don't have to talk too much about other maps in this series, but Circuit Royale was like a very important map in my opinion, because it was the other map that GK won. I feel like we don't need to talk too much about the maps that Falcons won, because we already talked too much about Falcons, why they won and how they're good. But we'll talk about where GK won, and the Life with BAP made a comeback. It was after New Junk, so and the Life with BAP is so unique to this team. No other team in the world can play this and win on it the way that GK can. Like, to the point where Falcons didn't know how to play against this. So part of the reason why it's good on maps like Circuit and also Kings, if Kings was in the pool, GK would probably play Life with BAP there, is because it's very hard to flank. You can't really flank on this map And in any front-to-back map, any front-to-back situation, Life Weaver BAP is so hard to play into because you can't punish the Life Weaver. And because you go front-to-back, whoever's in the front just gets saved by the grip.
Yeah.
Oh, Cuffer's dying, grip. My Mo's dying, grip. It also allows Ultravite to play like way more aggressively because they have double bailouts. They have Lamp and Life Grip for like bailing people out of like just using the vulnerabilities. And Falcons here, yeah, look at the whole comp. It's a front-to-back comp. They can't. Also, the Lucio ban is genius. Lucio ban protects both Life with and BAP and prevents Falcons from playing like a good speed comp. People will say, well, what about the Juno? Is the Juno speed comp? Kinda. But I don't think it offers the same level of like ability to play make as the Lucio and ability to like be aggro the way a Lucio speed plus sound barrier can. Like Orbital Ray is good, but the instant value on sound barrier, I think in this sort of matchup, maybe I'm talking shit here, but like it just feels like to me, the instant value on the sound barrier allows you to like just get on top of GK. Because the problem here is getting on top of the backline is the hardest thing to do. You cannot access the backline when you have Mei and a Ram in your face, or even a Hazard. You'll notice the Hazard ban, Falcons did their homework. GK love to play Hazard in the Life with a BAP comp because the Hazard can go really fucking aggro and they just get pulled out by the grip. But even with the Ram, it allows Cuffer to go really aggro, punch away, and if he gets in trouble, gets pulled back by the grip. And Ram probably does a better job of holding the front line, holding attention on the front line, preventing like people from just walking past the Ram. You want to get past the Ram, you're gonna get punched, you're gonna get Vortex, you're just gonna shut down. Lethal's gonna like shoot you, Ultravite's gonna shoot you. It's very hard. You have to respect the Ram in the front line. And so yeah, teams can't figure out how to beat this. The closest thing I've seen is Liquid versus GK 7 map finals in NA. Tree goes Hanzo to try and beat this.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like Lucio BAP, and just having Lucio in general helps you a lot. It's possible that like in my own brainstorming, maybe a Farah could like help you here. Just something that gets you into the back line. Possibly a Sombra, but then like I feel like you need to have a really good dive team that can Sombra. I'm just like spitballing. I don't even know if that would work.
Yeah, you're probably like the 50th person. Considering all the NA teams, they've been spitballing about this for like an entire stage. Like, what the fuck do we do?
On a perfect Life with a BAP map, I genuinely don't know what you're supposed to do to beat it. I don't like a perfect Life with a BAP map like Circuit, where you can just front to back the whole time. It is so hard to beat. The fact that Falcons couldn't beat it just is proof in the pudding.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are two ways to kind of beat it. You know, very generalistic. It's just like either, you know, you kill the backline, which makes it easier to clean up the rest, or you just out-greed, and I think that is what Falcons try to do here. They just try to like out-greed the backline because the GK double, I don't even know what to call that backline. The GK backline, it is so protective and defensive-minded that you can't get away playing Kiriko Juno. There's no pressure on the Kiriko Juno in this comp, and so you get the Orbital Ray, you get the Kitsune for free, no pressure whatsoever. And then whenever they do swap the Zarya on offense as well, and I think we have split opinions on the Zarya because I don't want to speak for you because you can speak later. I actually think the Zarya makes some sense, and I think they swapped to it too late because I think as well when GK has this backline, you can actually kind of get away playing the Zarya and the damage, the offensive like value you get from a Zarya, all the damage, and you actually like can kind of like crush the front line with that. It'd be a lot easier if there was like a fucking Senna or Discord Orb or some shit, right? That goes unpunished here. Maybe that's why the Life Weaver BAP works in the first place, because you don't have like a Discord Orb that's viable. But my point is like I think you can get away playing like Kiri, Juno, Zarya. But they just didn't have enough time by the time they swapped to it. So, I don't know. On defense, it's like so hard to play the Zarya. So, I'm not sure I vouch for it there.
Genuinely think Widowmaker. There's another way you can circumvent the front to back and just snipe the back line. You just get a couple of headshot kills onto the Life with a BAP. Is maybe how you do it. That'd be the only other way. But overall, I think GK can be pretty proud of their performance. I know they go out in quarterfinals, but they're the team that outside of Weibo push Falcons the hardest. Consider that they did a better job than T1, better job than QADSIAH against Falcons, and I think there's a lot to be proud of there. If you are much better than AGAL, like holy damn. So GK probably a semifinals quality team. If GK played T1, I think GK might win. I think I'm pretty down on T1 this tournament just because their meta read was so bad. But like comparing T1's performance versus Falcons, GK's performance versus Falcons, but GK plays so much better. So
yeah, they're gonna be kicking themselves too, man. Because like GK, they had a real fucking chance to like get to the finals and potentially even win the tournament.
They
like you can't say they didn't have. They went to map 5 against Falcons.
They Cuff had a tweet at the end that was like, yeah, we went to map 5 against both the grand finalists. You know, it's just like that is pretty depressing when you think about it that way.
That sucks.
Because they also did 5 maps versus QADSIAH. So
yeah, I mean, you can't say the NA region is weak. Like you gotta give them props for that. That was sick.
Speaking of NA, talk about Liquid a little bit before we move on to some other teams.
One final thing, because I just realized this when we were talking about Falcons just now. They played 10 maps versus WEIBO and GK, and then on the final day, they went 7-1. They needed fewer maps on the final day than their last group stage match.
See, they baited everyone into thinking they were struggling. Everyone thought, Falcons struggling. They baited everyone. Luckily, I saw through that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to believe in the team. I'm going to believe in Proper. He's playing like an MVP.
Me too,
now.
AVRL. You and me, buddy. We are so smart. We fucking saw it.
Yeah, even Jake didn't believe. Even Jake was like, oh, QADSIAH's going to win. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So
we saw through it. We always believed in the Falcons.
Yep, I did not get baited.
Did not get baited.
I know. I've seen Falcons too many times. I know they always play teams close. They play to the team skill level. And it's very hard for them to get 3-0 wins. When I see them win 3-1 and 3-2, I'm like, yeah, but this is just what they do. They love baiting people and they love losing maps when they shouldn't be. It's just how they play. That's come to bite me in the back a couple of times as well because they do lose. But I just thought their form in this tournament was excellent. GK can't be too disappointed. They play better than Liquid overall in this tournament. So the GK Liquid rivalry in North America looks to continue with maybe GK still on top moving forward. But yeah, unless there's more on GK, I was going to say for Liquid, like a lot more disappointing because they got 3-0'd by T1. Like, ouch, man, that is not good.
Yeah, and I mean, in the pre-game, we even said like, Bucket is like, how do Liquid win this? And my response was, well, 3-0, they need to have a generational performance. It's like, fuck, man. What do you do, dude?
This is also the bait game where you're like, oh, T1's so good. Like, T1 baited everyone with this game.
Yeah.
Because you also have a situation where, like, Liquid, you can see right now, Infected just mirrors the Orisa. And both teams are like, yeah, we'll play the same thing. I think there was a map as well where Infected mirrored the ball. Yeah, here we go. So
this was crazy, by
so
the way.
Liquid just did the same thing. Like, T1 never got their, like, bad meta read exposed. Because Liquid just mirrored them the whole time. And Liquid's like, oh, you're playing the bad meta read? We'll play the bad meta read too. And so they just played, both teams just played the same bad meta read. So.
I mean, this was an amazing mirror. Like,
it's fun. Like,
how often do we get this? It is
fun.
Amazing.
Like, Infected also loves Dongak. Infected's like favorite players Dongak as well. So he beat Dongak last year, by the way, at EWC. He beat Fnatic on Nightmare.
Right.
Was it Nightmare? Infected played for whatever team Infected played for last year, which I think was Nightmare.
Yeah, because he was on loan from NRG Shock, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was that Infected?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember us watching this round, and we were like, I don't know if it was because like the observing or something, but we're like, it feels like Liquid has been winning this entire round, and somehow they're losing. Like we just kept yapping about how good Liquid were and like how they were winning, and then like, yeah, actually T1 they're in the lead here. Okay, Siri, you're being a brat. You're going down.
You're going down. I think it's Shambali and QADSIAH. I don't have a great memory of like how these next two maps played out, but
did they play? No, they just 2-0 them on this round. Yeah.
Yeah, Busan was a 2-0. More Orisa mirrors. Yep.
More Orisa
and
mirrors.
two teams that don't really play Sim. I think Zera is like, I didn't see Liquid play that much Sim before. Zero to me will always be like a tracer hard carry. So like he's giga nerfed on Sim. To be fair, you could argue the same for Zest. This is so weird. We're playing Sim, Arisa, Mirrors.
I would have liked to ask RuPaul why he played Kiri here. Like I always expected him to roll over the map.
Here. Tree's playing Cass, which is correct here. Yeah, that is interesting. He's not playing the BAP. I feel like BAP feels more correct here.
I'm not sure. Don't know.
Another T1 game where they get to play their comp with no punishment from the other team. Unlike in the Falcons game, or even the Twisted Minds game, no real punish from the other team here. Team Liquid are not good enough as a Sim TP team to really push T1. Twisted Minds just dismantle. The Twisted Minds are so good at Sim that they can just absolutely gap T1. So Liquid are not good enough at Sim to gap T1 in this matchup.
I guess it's kind of crazy to think about, like going back to like how do some of these NA and EMEA regions win. It's just like when I think about it, like all of these NA and EMEA teams, they've just been in the dive chamber for like the past year and be like, we need to get better at Winston, Brig, Ana. And you look at some of these teams like within their regions, like SSG now disbanded, Liquid, Toronto Defiant last year, you know, when they had, you know, the Vega RuPaul lineup and stuff. They're just like they put so much fucking effort into being really good at Winston, Brig, Ana comps that now when you go back to these other like brawl comps, it's like, yeah, well, the EMEA's been doing this the entire time. Like they love doing this stuff. They never bothered to learn dive, and then we end into a brawl meta, and some of these NA teams are just like, well, we put like I actually think obviously like Infected is very happy to play Orisa. I played that hero a ton last year. He's really good at that hero. But I think as a team, like some of these teams have like less practice on this kind of stuff versus dive.
It's the Sim. I think it was a regular brawl, it's whatever, but the Sim adds an extra layer that most teams are not used to. Teams that haven't got good practice on Sim just are not going to be good. So that's
yeah.
What was let's go to map 3 real quick. I'm trying to remember QADSIAH. What happened there?
It's like some of these teams, like they build that comfort, like Crazy Raccoons. Oh, map 3. I don't know why I stopped here. Crazy Raccoons, they're so comfortable playing the Wrecking Ball Pharah comp. They're like, we don't really have to play anything else. And then some of these teams are like,
not the Malga. Ball Malga, Jesus Christ.
Some of these teams
Holy
are like,
flashbang.
We can just play Winston, Brig, Ana, and we win everywhere. So we don't have to play anything else. And then Winston, Ana, Brig is not viable. And they're like, oh, well, we gotta play something else. Yeah, one of the comps of all time.
So Liquid trying really hard to counter the ball here. To the point where Infected goes Malga. It's like, okay. Ball is pretty good on QADSIAH, we'll admit. But Jesus Christ, they went to Malga here to try and counter it. Went to Brig here to try and counter it. Sim is banned after they lost to Zest Sim. You know it's bad when Team Liquid are banning Sim against T1 of all teams, you know. That is when you know you're struggling. Cass here, great. Zero Tracer versus Ball, great. I just have zero faith in Malga, unfortunately. The Malga is just a complete throw pick. I know that Malga into Ball is probably like reasonably good, but like, yeah, you got a free kill on the Ball when you have Cage, but beyond that, if Proud decided to go Soj here, it would have been even more one-sided. Can you imagine Proud or Soj just hard farming rails off of Infected's Malga?
Yeah, that would be.
It would be so one-sided. The fact that
disgusting.
T1 won this without even having to go Soj tells you everything.
They would not have been able to do anything against the Soj. Soj would have cleared. Yeah.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into just countering Ball. I think trying to hard counter Ball is sometimes a bit of a bait. You just have to like play versus everything else. In fact, I think Ram is a great Ball counter at the moment because Vortex is so strong.
Ram is banned.
Vortex is so... Oh, that's a good ban. That's a really good ban from T1, actually. Very smart. I respect that.
What did Falcons play against T1 here? Because they looked awful playing this comp. Like, Dongak was feeding his brains out against Falcons.
I will check for you real quick so you don't have to change.
Thank you.
It is... Dongak win Ball. Falcons either protected... No, they couldn't have because T1's losing. T1 didn't ban the RAM. Maybe they banned the RAM early in the series. I can't remember when. No, T1 did not ban RAM early in the series. So RAM was available. They didn't ban the RAM. Someone went the RAM, and Vortex cleaned up Donghack. Vortex absolutely cleaned them up, but also proper. Also, when you're proper on Tracer, yeah, right. you know T1's gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think Liquid overall their tournament, their best game was the 5 map against Crazy Raccoon that they nearly won but still lost. They beat Rock 2-0 in the best of 3, and they beat VARRELL 3-0. 2 teams they're expected to beat. They nearly beat Crazy Raccoon, which is a very nice, impressive
feat. But in hindsight, you're like, okay, well.
Now looking at that now, Crazy Raccoon got quarterfinaled, same as Liquid. So yeah, and Crazy Raccoon also didn't have the best meta read. I think these are all just teams that potentially didn't have the best of the meta reads. In that Crazy Raccoon Liquid game, Tree popped off. He was like an absolute god tier play on that game. So there was like a full hold in Midtown as well versus Crazy Raccoon. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Liquid's overall performance in the tournament?
1 second, I'm organizing dinner with my wife because we're recording for so long.
We can finish soon.
No, she won't get home for a while, but I was supposed to cook dinner, but now I'm here recording Plat. Yeah, I mean, I think Liquid was another one of those teams. Like, they played Knife on Symmetra during the regular season, and then they played Zero on Symmetra, which is obviously like they made a change there leading up to this tournament. I don't think this, like, if you're good at Brawl but you're not good at Sim Brawl, then this tournament you're kind of like, all right, well, you're going to be at a disadvantage. I like that Liquid has the double flex look. They can bring that out here and there. I think Vega RuPaul is like, essentially like as good of a backline as you can kind of get in North America. And like, maybe if you want to build like an all-star North American 5, maybe you throw in like Ultraviolet or, whomever. Besides the point, like, it's a really good backline. Infected's one of the hottest prospects when it comes to tank players, still very young. He has a wrecking ball. He still has a really good Orisa. He has a good Mauga, I have faith that Infected will just continue to improve. He can play the Winston. Like, Infected is like really good hero pool. Just needs to like, continue to practice Scrim, get better. Like, no doubt. Zero beat Crazy Raccoon, had a life game, like, has a talent. I think Zero needs to just widen his hero pool like a little bit, and you saw that he started playing like the Sim or whatever. But Zero needs a slightly wider hero pool and take some of his skill on Genji and Tracer, and he'll become like a much more valuable player once he's able to play a few more things. And based on what we've heard as well, like, Zero likes to communicate and like discuss strategy like during, like, he's very engaged. Like, there are some players like Jwoo where like, okay, really good Genji Tracer player. I don't know how invested Jwoo is in like, strategy sessions and stuff like that with the team, whereas Zero really much is, and it's like, this is how we should play the game, stuff like that. So when I hear that, I'm like, okay, I actually have no doubt that Zero will eventually, be smart enough and skilled enough of an Overwatch player where he will pick up other players and like really round out his skill set and his hero pool and become like a top tier player. And then I feel like Tree, again, young, really good hitscan player. But if you want to win on the international stage, Tree needs to become like a Quartz Lambda level hitscan player, And he'll show glimpses on like Freya where like he'll take over games and then will be like Tree player of the match in North America, whatever. But like, the hitscan players globally now are so fucking extremely good that it's like insane. You can't just be like good on hitscan anymore. You need to be like Chronic, Sign Esports, like they bombed out in groups or whatever against Twisted Minds. But still, Chronic would just hit like unreal moments, and you'd be like, "What the fuck?" That was. I think you went back to the hotel that game. I don't know if you watched that game, but like Sign Esports were so obviously losing against Twisted Minds, and Chronic would just like fucking win fights by himself. And if you want to like win on the global stage, you need to be that good of like a hitscan player. And so I think Hitscan, like Tree is like really good of a Hitscan player, still really young, really talented, but he needs to like take one further level. And when both Zero and Tree has done that, you know, obviously Vega can improve as well. RuPaul, really good, you know, veteran leadership from like Toronto Defiant and all his experience, stuff like that. Like, and Florida Mayhem, I meant to say Florida Mayhem won the Overwatch League, stuff like that. Like, I really do think Liquid could improve, and like maybe in like 1 year, where like, oh, they made a grand finals, or, you know, they had a really good performance in a semifinal, stuff like that. I really do think they could improve. The path is there, or like the road is there for them to improve and become like a really good team. But they just need to like, all of them like need to level up a little bit individually, I feel like, and they'll be there. So, and that's difficult, you know, like maybe it'll never happen, but I think they do have the potential to be that good at some point.
I don't have anything else for Liquid. You covered Sign a little bit there. I think we're pretty good there. Yeah, they had like one good win versus TN.
Yeah, all in on the Venture Freya. Chronic is sick. People are like really high on Chronic now. People are like, Chronic could like...
He proved it.
Yeah, people like Chronic might be like the Labda of NA, where he like is just insane on hit scan and like propels a team into like, you know, global stage. He's that good. We should
probably do VP WEIBO and then lead into like, I have a few thoughts on China overall, and then I think we're good because AGAL, they were just bad this tournament. Terrible read. Zocorp, I didn't see a single game, unfortunately, of theirs.
I didn't. Yeah, I
didn't. Scorpos, didn't see a single game of theirs, unfortunate. Unlucky for Rack Attack. Tried his best, great guy. Did some content with them. So VP WEIBO.
Let me find this match. Is this day one?
Day.
No, it's day two, right?
Day two.
Oh yeah, because we had 6 matches day 2, right? Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's 4 matches. It's 4 matches. Sorry, I found it.
What a heartbreaking loss for WEIBO Gaming. VP though, will also kind of include VP's QADSIAH game, although that wasn't really inspiring. That is unfortunately just another situation where like VP don't have the read on the tournament, or they can't play what VP and QADSIAH are doing, and they just lost QADSIAH all year, well, all stage, I should say. It's a very difficult situation. Now, JWoo had quite the tournament. Every single game, I felt like JWoo was incredibly good. Shockwave was also impressive as well. I've been a little bit 50-50 on Shockwave this stage, because when Freya came out, Shockwave was not doing too great. But now that Freya is mostly gone, you don't have to play that much Freya anymore. Shockwave's locking back in the Soj. His Soj looked very good this tournament. Icenom went back on the Hazard, actually won a map on Hazard here as well. So beyond that, Vistola came in and just played everything he needed to play. I think VP just had a very generally solid series here. Some very inspiring individual hero plays from both Shockwave and JWoo. We're talking about individual mechanics. Very close maps overall. 2-1 Oasis, 107-103 on Esperanza. Circle Royale was a stomp. I think that was probably the standout map for VP. Completely stomped WEIBO. And then 3-1 Atlas, and then a 2-1 Midtown, which was pretty close as well. So generally very close games, except for the Circuit. Circuit was probably the WEIBO disappointment, and the VP big win.
Yeah, I don't know how much I have to say. It is, to me, pretty fucking wild that Virtus Pro like 100-0 WEIBO Gaming here. I don't think WEIBO did WEIBO get a single limb this round? Like, WEIBO should realistically like be really good on this comp. And Virtus Pro with Gala and Ice Gnome, and you know, they just took it to him, which is like,
I mean,
kind of crazy.
WEIBO actually, for the most part, had a very similar read to Falcons, minus the sim, which is to say, we're going to play with Kusha and the Ram and just play like Tracer, Soj the whole time. And that's exactly what Falcons did. The Hazard was just a lot of obviously playing more towards Kusha's comforts. 2020 hindsight, Kusha probably should have just like, except for City Center, stuck to the Ram. Because it ended up being Falcons had the best read overall, but Falcons also had the best execution. But I also think like WEIBO have a lot of same strengths as Falcons. They also have Shy and Leave being mechanical monsters, although I think Leave didn't quite have as dominant of a performance as Proper. Leave is, in recent years, obviously just not been on the same level as Proper. And in this series, he was like pretty okay into JWoo, but he wasn't better than JWoo. And so because he wasn't better than JWoo, he couldn't just gap him and just create the situation where like it just looked like the proper show. You know, Leave didn't have that performance. Shy typically can do that, but even here, Shockwave was matching Shy pretty hard. So even Shy couldn't create the gap either. So where are you creating the gap in the series? You know, it's like, really though, on a hazard dive mirror, you would expect that WEIBO should win this one, but they didn't, which is very surprising and impressive of Virtus.pro.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure how much I have to say. I feel like, you know, Overwatch is a pretty complicated game, and sometimes different people, they watch different stuff and focus on different players. Jake, and I'm just saying stuff that was said in the green room, which, you know, don't take this with a grain of salt. Like, I don't want to speak for anyone, but Jake did mention that he was like really impressed with Ice Gnome throughout the tournament, where he was like, and you know, you look at that and you go like, okay, you know, Vestola, we've seen it a lot on the global stage. Vestola, you know, Overwatch World Cup, great achievements, great resume, proven so many times. Ice Gnome is still relatively unproven. And to get a Jake was impressed by you, it's high praise right there. so yeah, that's a takeaway from Jake anyway.
What about when I'm impressed with people? That's high praise.
Yeah, but we get a, you know, it's more of like we get a lot of good AVRL takes, but then Jake, you know, he fires one off, like, because he's not on the podcast anymore. Like you only get like throughout the full year, you only get a handful of Jake takes, and one of those takes was that Ice Gnome is a really good player, which I think because Ice Gnome, you know, has a relatively thin resume. I think that's you know an impressive takeaway. But yeah, I don't know.
I just realized watching through some of these VODs of the earlier day 1, day 2 teams, the teams that ultimately couldn't make it far and didn't have that much potential in this tournament were the Orisa teams that like try to hard lock Orisa, because by the time you get to the end of the series between WEIBO and Virtus.pro, both Vasola and Gushray are hard Orisa mirroring, and like, as we figured out, this tournament was mostly about Ram, not about the Orisa. Although I think anyone could have told you that coming in. I think everyone knew that Ram was gigabusted coming into this tournament, and still you had a bunch of Orisa teams. Must just been a comfort thing. Leave had a dominant venture. I will say Leave's venture this tournament was genuinely impressive.
Is there a map you have in mind? I played venture here.
I'm looking at Midtown. Oh, you mean I think Leave versus Falcons, but like, yeah, I'm just kind of like doing both VP and WEIBO in the same discussion at the moment.
This really was a heartbreaker of a WEIBO tournament. The fact you went to 5 against Falcons, you went to 5 against Virtus.pro, and like, this was obviously a disappointment for them. You know what, AVRL, I'm a little bit scared. I feel like you lose a tournament like this, it feels like shit.
It does.
Shy, you know, maybe not as comfortable. Would you say? I'm so tired at this point that I'm kind of getting my facts mixed up here. But Shy is not as comfortable on Freya as Soj and Cass, obviously, right?
He looked good in China, but the problem is, like, how much does it translate to international? And I don't think he played that much Freya in this tournament to really show how good his Freya is internationally. But he dominated on Freya domestically in China.
Right.
But this, like, how much is that worth? You know, it's the problem.
One of my takes, when I was doing my prep for this event, I'm sorry, AVRL, this one's gonna hurt. I don't know if I got a chance to say this on the pre-show, because it's kind of like it deserves a longer conversation, and it's kind of sad. But I think with the heroes added, and with the game how it's developed, and, you know, the introduction of hero bans, I think the opportunity for WEIBO Gaming to win a championship has passed them by. Like, their window has closed. They had a few really good years of being able to consistently play Tracer, Sojourn, Dive, but like, the game has changed so much that I think it's over. I don't think they'll ever win.
Well, Philadelphia Fusion is one of those situations.
Which sucks. Like, I hate saying it, but I look at this team and I'm like, I think it's over, bro.
They can't make improvements to their roster either, which is a really difficult situation. The only thing they can do is get Langsa back over Mew, which I still am not big on Mew. I think Mew is way past his prime. But you could probably argue a bunch of players on the team may start to be past their prime. Like, I typically look at Tracer as like the benchmark for flex DPS, and seeing Leave kind of getting gapped by Proper in the Falcons WEIBO series, I'm like, fuck, man. Leave used to be an absolute god on this hero, and now he's just getting run laps. To be fair, it's Proper. I think everyone got gapped by Proper this tournament, so maybe it's not that bad. But I just when I have the 21 MVP versus 2022 MVP, I just wanted that matchup to be a little bit closer. Shy was impressive versus Merit, though. I actually think Shy overall probably outplayed Merit a little bit, which when you consider that Merit ended up being the tournament winner is quite good for Shy's favor. But yeah, I don't know what WEIBO can do. You could argue that this isn't really their meta, which it's not. Like, it definitely is not their meta. But even if it was a Winston meta, could they beat Crazy Raccoon in Winston meta? You know, that's another question you then have to ask. And it's like, we saw what happened in Hangzhou when they went up against Crazy Raccoon. They kind of got fisted by them, which is unfortunate. Although there is a world where will once again go all the way to the grand finals in Hangzhou, but then Crazy Raccoon come into the lower bracket and just like destroy them in the finals anyway. Crazy Raccoon were too good that tournament. So if you have a perfect dive meta, then Crazy Raccoon beat you. If you have a perfect brawl meta, then Falcons beat you. So what do you do? And this goes for every team in the world. This is why Falcons and Crazy Raccoon always win everything, because depending on what meta it is, we never have a poke meta, but if it's a brawl meta, Falcons win. If it's a dive meta, Crazy Raccoon win. And every other team is not as good as those two teams on those particular metas.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker because they've been so close so many times over the years and taken so many extremely good teams. You know, whether it's Hangzhou Spark, once again, WEIBO Gaming. Like over the past, since Overwatch 2 was released essentially, they've gone in close so many times that it does kind of suck. I would not be surprised that, you know, depending on how they do during the World Finals, which maybe we'll talk about the format as well before we go, because they announced that. Or the not the format, but some stuff, I think. That like maybe one of these guys is just like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm
Time
scared.
for the newer
I'm scared that
generation.
this probably is the last year for a few players. I don't know who's it going to be, but I can feel like this WEIBO gaming team is not going to make it into 2026 as this exact
God, I'm
roster.
getting sad just thinking about
Which
this.
is like, because these guys have been in the game for too long, and I feel like at some point somebody's going to be like, yeah, I think I've had enough now. They might not even leave. Somebody might move to coach. Someone just might say, I just want to stream now. You know, like something like that could happen. I don't know. But right now, they're still the best in the region. They can still win China over and over. They can still qualify to every event. So, like, it's not bad in that regard. Maybe we can start moving the conversation a little bit more towards China in general, because I did want to talk about China as a region. Because
I think it's
China
goes hand in hand with like the younger generation. Yeah,
China completely got grouped. All of China got grouped. China did not qualify a single team into playoffs for EWC, which is tragic because all three Chinese teams lost on a 5-map series. They all lost on a 5-map series. Once again, famously love to go to 5 maps versus everybody, but the last two events they lost to Falcons on map 5, and they probably could have won. They lost to Emu Ajax in Hangzhou, and this time around I can't exactly remember what the map 5 for WEIBO Falcons was again, but Shambali Monastery, yeah, that was a 4-3. Like, Jesus, they always go so close, dude. When I talk to Falcons after that game, they were like, they look so tired, they look so exhausted. Like, talked to Sparkle as well, and he's just like, oh, it's so hard. He's just like looking at me, he's like, that was so hard, you know, like. And then they took the WEIBO key at the end. Like, the genuine respect they have for WEIBO is incredible, because they know that was probably like the hardest game out of all the games they played. The WEIBO game genuinely might have been the most difficult game for Falcons to win this entire tournament, which is saying a lot. Which also says that WEIBO have the quality. WEIBO are a quality enough team that they can go toe-to-toe and nearly beat the entire champions of the event, right? Like, that just shows that WEIBO is actually top tier team in the entire world. But the rest of China is not there. Rock, very disappointing. I know Jack's happy that VARRELL won, but it's a very bad look for Rock when you have like Bellis Rio on that team, who's a pretty good player, but not elite. And then you have Dia, who's like got so much history on him. And Taejong had a great tournament. Langsa is, in my eyes, still better than Mew. Chamomile, which is aka Molly, probably not that exciting, but it is what it is. Jinmu, no, I don't know why the fuck Jinmu came in to play Kiriko. That was so stupid by Rock. And then you have GK versus CC, where CC nearly won. This may be worth bringing up, so I'll give you the timestamp of the VOD.
Oh, I don't know.
But
yeah, actually, we can.
But like, I'm not gonna go through the whole series, but just the end of the series, dude. There is a world where GK get grouped by CC and CC end up in quarters. It was that close. It was one final team fight.
Oh yeah, can you send me this time?
I want to show you what happened here. This is tragic, man. I'm happy GK made it through because they like ended up pushing Falcons to 5, and that was a super sick game. But holy heartbreak for CC. It would have been a heartbreak for GK instead. So either way, one of these two teams was going to face major heartbreak in the series.
Oh, this fucking moment. Oh, I just got like, dude.
Watch what happens to Billy Day. Okay, before we even watch the moment, look at the ults. Look at the situation in the map right now.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is tragic.
Just pause for a second. Look at where we are. You're about to have respawns on my Moan Lethal. CC have 4 ults, nearly 5 coming up. This is about to be OT. CC need to push about 70 meters, but spoilers, they're about to push most of that. So you're gonna get here. They're gonna cap.
Oh my god,
the cap is already extreme. And then just play through this. And then
this is
you're gonna watch what happens.
Arguably the saddest moment of the tournament.
Watch Billy Day. He just drops off the high ground, doesn't ult to save himself.
Shit.
Super Rich doesn't beat to save him. No lamp either. I think Farway doesn't even lamp. They just let him die. Billy Ding just literally dies, and that's it. Because if CC win this fight, I think they can win the map.
I
think they can genuinely win the map if they win this fight.
Yeah.
Because they just lose, Billy Ding just randomly dies off the high ground. You saw what happened. He got Maywalled by my Moan. He's dropping off the high ground, and as he drops, he just gets killed. And CC don't use anything to save him. He doesn't use anything to save himself. Doesn't ult, doesn't do anything to save himself. Just dies. And the CC lose. That's it. The GK win, they genuinely nearly lost to CC.
Yeah, Billy Deng. I don't know if I'm using this word correct. Unequivocally, just threw the game. Like, and you can argue like he should have saved. Yeah, you should have Sunbear. You should have like whatever. Dude got Maywalled and lost when teams had 9 ultimates in OT. And he could have run off the bridge, right? Like
he could have. He ran off the bridge. He did run off the bridge.
Way too late, right?
Mid-jump. He died mid-jump off the bridge. You can watch it back. Look at him.
Okay,
top left.
Top left. Yeah. When does he use Fortify? So he uses Spear Spin. He's half health. LOSing his healers because
Probably
one of them has to stay. One of them has to stay on the bot, and Farway does not really want a wide swing. Fucking lethal right now.
Oh no! Look at that vortex. That
Spear
vortex
spin.
Cuts off the entire backline.
Yeah. Good
The wall would have anyway.
Uses abilities. Jumps off.
Is he golding?
He's still LOSing Farway. No one has LOS on this dude. No abilities. It's the saddest moment of the tournament.
So the good news, CC got close to GK. That's a good look for one of the 2 Chinese teams that is not called WEIBO Gaming. Because the problem for WEIBO and the problem for China is that after WEIBO, everyone's bad. And so for China to improve, for WEIBO to improve, even though WEIBO are already like international top tier, you need the rest of China to be good. At least China looks to be improving. It's not a good look for Rock, but CC at least being at this level is impressive. One of the aura things that happened was Super Rich Hao Qian. He benched his own. He's a coach on this team, by the way. He's actually the coach of CC. He's not a player.
Oh yeah,
he's also
so funny.
Signed up as a player. He benched his main support Unknown. This guy's name is Unknown. He put himself in.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, we needed better leadership in the game. So I benched my main support and put myself in. They literally did the Jake thing. Benched Juby, put himself in to play Mercy, you know? The Jake strat from 2022 Houston. Seemed to work. I mean, it pushed CC up to 5 maps. But China getting grouped now means that they do not get an extra spot in the Stockholm World Final. We can talk about that now, right? I guess.
Wait, what else? Sorry. So, going back to the thing about I was supposed to cook dinner for my wife. We're ordering sushi. So now I'm ordering sushi for us because I haven't had time to cook dinner. Because I don't know.
I'll give you the link.
Okay.
For the announcement.
But was there not anything else to talk about?
No other teams.
I basically China, AGAL.
We basically finished on China because
I have nothing to say about the AG.
AG got. I have nothing to say about them. It was embarrassing. AG got embarrassed this tournament. It was really bad. Everything about their team just sucked. They played a bunch of Reaper the whole time. It was just gross.
Oh, the Reaper Moira, yeah. Oh my god,
so fucking bad.
Dude, what happened there? Did they just go like, we suck, let's just run it down?
I don't know, man. It's humiliating for AG. Zocorp, I don't know much about, and Gutha Scorpos didn't unfortunately see much of their games, so yeah. I got the link ready, Johnny, when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ordering some
the final thing.
yellowtail sashimi right now. Spicy tuna onigiri. What the fuck is this? I'll pull it up and you can talk about it while I order sushi. What's the link? Oh, here we go. A little tweet. Okay. I'll put it up for you right now, AVRL. Bam. There you go.
You have 4 more teams attending Stockholm than Hangzhou. Thank God. One of my biggest complaints last year was that 8 teams is not enough. You need 12. You need 12 teams because 2 teams from each region is not enough. The 3rd seed from a lot of these regions rather, are typically pretty good and can do a lot. You miss out on a lot of these great storylines if you just don't have the 3rd team coming on in. And also, yeah, you miss out on stuff like VARRELL winning if you don't have like Japan pack slot as well. I'm glad they have one of those. Sign beating Twisted Minds, you wouldn't have had that, you know. VP beating WEIBO, you wouldn't have had that if VP didn't get to go as a 3rd slot for EMEA, EWC. So these 3rd slots, I think, are like kind of defining. Like, it makes the tournament so much better. Also, they increased the number of show days from 3 to 5 to accommodate. So because there's 12 teams, it takes longer to get through the tournament. Therefore, you need more days. We love that. I said last year, it's like, dude, Counter-Strike was doing play days before DreamHack even opened. And for a full week, Counter-Strike was playing extra days. Now, I'm not saying we need a full week, although I wouldn't mind it. An extra 2 days in studio before we even get to DreamHack and start from Friday is pretty good. So, yeah, that'll be pretty nice. The way the regions got an extra slot is by allocating 1 slot extra to the top performing regions at Midseason, which is EWC, and those top performing regions are North America, Korea, and EMEA, and China, because they got grouped, didn't get anything. Japan Pacific, because they all got grouped, didn't get anything. So, makes sense. Can't complain. I think China right now needs a bit more time. I think Rock did not do enough. Rock getting beaten by VARRELL tells you everything you need to know about where China is. At least CC put up a good fight versus GEEKAY, and WEIBO we know is top tier quality. So yeah, happy to see potentially, definitely WEIBO, but potentially CC back for Stockholm.
All right, I'm done. I ordered food.
So am I. So am I. We're both done.
No, not about the episode. Sorry, I'm keeping you here. I'm not letting you go to sleep.
Bro is not letting me sleep.
No. Seconded everything I said. I think I ordered food as you were talking, but I agree with everything you said about more teams. I like the reward system. You said something about extending the tournament in studio, which gives us some more opportunity to like just play all the matches required for a format like this. Although I guess it doesn't say, it doesn't say format will be announced at a later date. But obviously you need more teams, you need more matches, and so 5 days is really good. Kind of hand in hand with EWC too, because I wanted to talk this too before we leave. Like how good the tournament was, and I think if you look back at some of the best tournaments in Overwatch history, they had been like 12 to 16 teams, and 16 teams is way too many. I think you saw there's a massive.
I like 16, but
yeah, but like okay, so like you could go if we went to EWC and we got the 16 best teams in the world, and we replaced theoretically we replaced like SoCorp and I don't know like.
Probably Gatos Guapos, unfortunately.
Gatos Guapos, yeah, right. And then we said, let's bring in 3 more Korean teams. Or SSG from NA, I don't know. Because they're a good team that missed out. And then like maybe then you'd be like, yeah, we got 16 extremely good teams, but then you'd still be like, okay, is the 6th best Korean team gonna win the tournament? It's like probably not. So like, you know, like maybe they'll make us a few upsets. Maybe they'll have some good group stage matches, but like it's not because of the resources required to host the tournament in the first place and the extra matches you need. I think beyond 12,
you don't need 16. But I think you need 12. Is what I think.
Right. And that's where I agree with you. It's just like the best tournaments have been 12 plus team tournaments. And so I'm really happy to see this. I will say, like, having worked some of those tournaments where it's like 5 days in a row, and the first one that comes to mind is obviously the best tournament of all time, 2022 Midseason Madness. The tournament the tournament that only pros could play and no one else could play the game. That week was like insane because I think we worked late night in Irvine, and I think we worked like 5 or 6 days in a row, and like the amount of fucking Overwatch we played was like insane. That week was insane when it came to the amount of Overwatch content we got. So I love a 5 studio or a 5 show week because it gets fucking crazy. Like the amount of Overwatch you get, the amount of top Overwatch you get is just amazing. It's like a fucking, yeah, it's great. So I love it. 2 of them in the studio kind of sucks, but I don't think that's going to take away from the tournament because I think as we saw in the 2022 finals, we did the same thing where we had group stage matches were like in the arena next doors, but there were no crowd. And then the 3 final days were like in an arena, or final 2 days or whatever. And like, I don't think that took away from the tournament, so I don't mind the studio.
You know what we did for Midseason Madness 2022? This is absolutely insane thinking back. I just looked it up. It was a giant double elimination bracket with 12 teams. That was it. No group stage, nothing else. Just a gigantic double elim tournament, and that was it. And I think what was good about it was because we had really close games, really hype, like really open meta as well. So a bunch of different styles was viable. We had upsets in there. We had a banger grand finals. I think the biggest letdown at EWC was the grand finals was really bad. But we had an unbelievably banger grand finals. And a bunch of different storylines. And then I will still be unbelievably salty about the fact that Philly Fusion knocked out Spark in the lower bracket because of the luckiest fucking play of all time.
Oh my god, that is one of the most legendary forgotten plays of all time. I want to bring it up.
That stupid.
Oh yeah.
That stupid sleep dart.
That is
randomly hit an overclocking shy by accident. By total accident.
I need to show it. I need to show it.
The luckiest fucking play of all time.
I need to show it.
I have never seen a luckier play in my life. I like Philadelphia Fusion, but my god, they did not deserve to win that. Holy fuck, they did not.
Oh, you know how?
Also, there was a bunch of teams that were all like potentially good enough to win. Yeah, stupid. Irony.
Dude,
that's who.
Dude, look at this. Look at the YouTube thing, the timeline. You can click on the moment. It's like obviously like one of the biggest peaks.
Yeah, everyone knew. It like look at on the timeline. It's like the most rewatched moment in the VOD.
Yeah. Guy pops overclock and gets slept. And you're like, okay, wow, awesome sleep by Fixa. He hit him mid slide jump, and then
nope, total accident.
Where's the replay?
There's a replay at some point, and it was like a 100% accident.
Here it is. This is one of the most, in my opinion, this is up there with the Violet beat. Obviously, the Violet beat is way funnier because he feeds and just like loses his team the game. But this play is up there. Unreal.
He was going for the Zarya. He was going for Burner, and he randomly hit Shy. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
It's crazy.
Oh my god, he wasn't even going for him. Oh my god.
I think that's one of the top 3 like insane plays in Overwatch history that like changed the entire way the series played out.
It's the top 1 luckiest play of all time.
It's unbelievable, and that's
was like that helmet. Yeah. That's like that Super Bowl helmet catch.
Yeah, it's
whoever if you know the Super Bowl helmet catch. That's that moment. You know, that's that moment right there.
Yeah. That was like really skillful though. This was all
Anyway,
it's unbelievable that he hit a nano Shy.
So anyway, yeah, I still think EWC is one of the best tournaments we ever had because the meta was not as open, but fairly open-ish, proven by the fact that Falcons didn't end up playing although they did play sim. They didn't have to play sim. They proved that you can play non-sim and win. Insane production, obviously. 16 teams, you gotta love it. I like the fact that we had 16 teams. Single Elim does bring down the tournament a little bit. Double Elim would have been the best, but you know, we probably need like an extra day or two for that. Which, you know what, that's fine with me. I would have been there. I would have been happy to be there for an extra day or two.
These two guys. Oh, it's the same jacket you wear on at the EWC.
Yep, my finals day jacket. It's my finals jacket, dude. You know,
Mikey took damage.
I've worn it for finals multiple times. Mikey took damage moment
Let's
into
go.
C9. We literally ended on a C9. How crazy is that?
And they're all like sitting opposed to each other, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
was this the Unter moment?
Tournament? Good recap.
Or was this earlier in the tournament?
I can't remember.
Where you like humped this player or something?
I can't remember.
Bro, this was an insane ending to a finals, by the way.
We had sponsors back then. Holy. So
Oh, remember when they put a sponsor in the game?
Yep.
That's crazy, dude.
All right.
Yeah, I think
Brain spray of the week. Brain spray of the week.
Okay.
I can go to sleep.
Final thing. Yeah, I will say I think my order is the best tournament of all time, 2022 Midseason Madness. The second best tournament. I would maybe could be wrong about this one, but I almost think it's the 2022 playoffs as well. Like 2022 was fucking crazy. And so
It's a good year.
I would put up that playoffs.
That's a good year.
I thought it was a crazy good year. I thought because it was like the categories, the meta was not as strong. The grand finals was the best of all time. 7 maps, Dallas Fuel, San Francisco Shock. Couldn't have asked for a better finals ever. Fearless MVP. The tournament was legitimately sick. Like, it was fucking awesome. And so I don't know if like maybe I'm forgetting something, but it really helped that the format was so extremely good that compared to like the 2018 finals or playoffs was a joke because the format was so fucked. It's like we're playing best of 3s or best of 5s. Like so like comparatively, like 2022 was the year where like we figured out the format and it was hype as fuck. And so at best, I think EWC this year could be like the 3rd best of all time, but I don't even know if it is actually. Like, maybe if I spend some more time thinking about it, I would put some other tournament 3rd. So, I don't know. Maybe it was a really good tournament. The finals was complete dog shit. The meta was okay, I suppose. But it was a good tournament. I just don't know if it's like top 3, top 5, or... It's definitely top 10, but... Maybe it's top 5, in my opinion. But, I don't know. It is sick, though. It's fun when you get that production... value, though, I'll say, because it's so rare that, you know, we have the resources to pull off a tournament like that. So it was pretty fucking sick. And yeah, so that's all I have to say.
One of the best tournaments for production value alone, because obviously as good as Midseason Madness was, you have 2 teams in University of Hawaii and these kind of crazy death setups that everyone memed on. Is not quite as poggers as like the giant stage and lighting and all that we got. But
right.
Bridge by the week.
How would you rate last year's CWC?
The stage was a lot worse, but I don't know how we made it. But the format was slightly better because we had a full round robin in groups instead of it being GSL, and 3 teams made it out of groups instead of 2, and we had a best of 7 playoffs. The entire playoffs were best of 7. So thinking back on it, I have no idea how we got through that entire tournament. Considering how long it took us to get through this tournament this year, and we had none of that. We didn't have a round robin group stage. We didn't have best of 7 in the entire playoffs. We didn't have that last year. So for that reason, I think last year's format was better. Although my mind cannot for the life of me remember how we did it, because it sounds like an absolute nightmare for scheduling. It sounds like 16-hour days. I don't know how
we even had A and B streams this time around.
Oh, by the way, we did analyst segment between every map. Think about how long that takes.
Wait, last year?
Think about how long... Yes. Yeah. Think about how long it takes to do BO7 playoffs the entire way through with an analyst segment between every map. Think about that.
Yeah.
How did we get... Did we used to have 36 hours in a day last year? Did time change? Did we live in the hyperbolic time chamber? Did time pass slower in 2024? I don't know how the fuck we got through those days, considering how long it sounds. Just me describing it right now sounds like a nightmare. I don't know how we did it, but we did.
I will say this tournament, I think it's like the longest broadcasts I think I've ever worked. Maybe I'm wrong in that, but like I think generally we've had like shorter days, and all these days were like 12 hours long. At least not at the broadcasts, but like from us start to finish, because we had to pre-record a bunch of stuff at the start of the day. We came in relatively early and stuff to the studio. So by the end of the tournament, I think all of the talent were like fucking drained because of like the amount of stuff we had to do, and like jet lag and sleep and all of that. So it was one of the toughest tournaments I've worked because of the demands when it came to the amount of stuff we had to do. So I'll say that. Okay, BREN'S Play of the Week. I will let you go to sleep in a minute now. It would have been cool if we hit the 4-hour mark, but you know, such is life. I think we're at 3:40 right now. 3:30 actually. All right, who do you think is BREN'S Play of the Week? We can't go with Proper because he got the MVP. So.
Well, yeah, we'll give him a shout out for that. BREN'S Play of the Week.
If anyone does anyone in chat have any questions or candidates for BREN'S Play of the Week?
How about we give BREN'S Play of the Week to Symmetra? No, we should probably give it to. You know what?
UB?
I kind of want to give it to Quartz because I felt like he was my next potential MVP if Proper didn't get it. So Quartz can get the best award that we can possibly give him, which is BREN'S Play of the Week. How about that? Does it sound good?
Dongak gets the Krusty Crack Pipe of the Week, and Quartz can.
He's the next most deserving player of the MVP for the tournament after Proper. So I think people say, "What about Merit?" And like, yeah, well, Merit didn't knock out Crazy Raccoon, did he?
You don't want to give it to Wilmo Fistfit?
You don't want to give it to Still Kiwi? You don't want to give it to Jimmu on Kiriko? You don't want to do that?
Unreal.
You don't want to give it to Billy Deng dying in the last fight?
Oh, Billy Deng. Fuck. I'm going to like have nightmares for that guy. If I did that, I would be so upset. Yo, Top Dragon was low-key fucking insane in the matches he played. Like, as a Top Dragon investor, I fucking love that guy dating back to like Ioma days last year. And I'm just so fucking happy that he redeemed himself from the Gen G bullshit that went on earlier in the year. So
we will give it to Quartz then, is what you're saying?
Yeah, fuck it. We'll give it to Quartz. Dude, it's been such a long episode. We're both extremely tired. I'm
ran through. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us for basically running through the entire tournament, essentially.
Yeah. Well, it was. Yep. That's what we're here for. It was one of the better tournaments, and we didn't even talk about, some of the news after SSG. They dropped some of their roster.
We'll get to that. We're gonna save some content for a future episode. We're gonna save some content.
Yeah, we gotta save some content. All right, we done, AVRL?
Yep.
All right.
Let's go.
I wonder if this is our end.